Let's get it. let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to day number 2 of PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021 Nepal Region. I'm joined along with Neeraj, of course, you can call him as Necro. So, yesterday we did see some amazing plays coming out from all these teams, and especially, teams like Carnage, teams like Cops. They really impressed us. But today we have two different groups. So, Necro, what are you expecting from them?
I mean, of course, as we saw on the day one, a lot of strategical plays
Yep.
and even some passive gameplay at the same time. The way they think and the way they actually like their thought process. I just felt like there's a lot more coordination and a lot more when we say like team synergy is actually really good when it comes to like Nepal region.
Yeah, of course, and I'm really stoked, and I want to see because we have some big names coming in today. Team Hype is playing, of course, along with Team Vibe. So this is a team that has Hungry Box, so one of the most prolific assaulters, you can call him, from the Bangladesh region. Of course, he's playing from the Nepali region this time around. So definitely eyes will be on him. So along with that, we have Team TDP, which of course does have Shagar. But what are they fighting for? That's the road to the PMPL. From Nepal, we have three teams qualifying for the PUBG Mobile Pro League.
Exactly. I mean, if you guys take a look at these top three teams, right? They have to get there. They have to get there at no matter what. And of course, like the motivation main at the same time is going to be the money and the reputation that is online. And of course, they want to be the best at whatever they're going to be doing. And of all these teams are definitely going to be showing their best, whatever they can be.
Yeah, of course. Like you mentioned, money. Let's talk money, the moolah that's on the line. And, well, it's a whopping $29,200. The first position, of course, receiving the majority of it and the maximum big chunk. So $3,900 to the winners. And yeah, the money is sweet, of course. But like I mentioned, it's still the qualifying slot for the PMPL, because after that it's gonna even increase, and the numbers are gonna go high. The competition, the standard of the gameplay is really gonna elevate. So those things also we do have to take into account. And I'm really excited to see what these teams have to offer today, because we've been casting two regions, right? We did see Bangladeshi teams. Today I was kind of a bit off because a lot of teams were still trying to figure out their kind of a gameplay that they were going in. But Nepali region, they've been ready, they've been prepared, they're just waiting for the PMC to get started and show their skills.
Exactly. I mean, especially it's like when you talk about Nepal region, right? We already know we're going to be seeing a lot of strategy, strategical, while at the same time the rotations, the way these guys play, the way these guys utilize their nades, and the way these guys utilize their smoke grenade, it's just really precise. They don't just throw away their utilities as if like it's nothing. But at the same time, if you guys take a look at the point system, it's just pretty standard as far we've seen all day.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this for quite some while. You need to be in those top five position, else nothing else is gonna matter to you, because from 8 to 16, from 8 to 12, you're just getting one, and then 13 to 16 nada. So you really need to be focusing a lot on those skills for these teams to really kind of grow up. But this meta that we have, the kill heavy meta that we're talking about, comebacks are really easy. All you need is one good kill fragging game, and along with that, the chicken dinner, you'll be right back in. Yesterday, we did get to see a glimpse of that. I mean, the way cops have been playing, Kayla Whitey, of course, being one of the names, that has come out of nowhere, and he has impressed us so much.
Exactly. I mean, especially not even just cops like Killer YT. Yeah, of course, he was the one of the best players yesterday that we saw in the Nepali regions, just absolutely dominating everybody who came in his way, even getting a nice spray transfer in the end. But at the same time, if we took a look at it, like all these other teams, those also had some really star getting good players. Like there was one player, I exactly don't remember the name, but he also got 8 kills with like a lot of damage. So this is what I was exactly expecting from Nepali region there. But at the same time, like when you see such a passive gameplay at the start, you don't really expect someone to pop off that much. But when it's the end circle, this is what I was talking about. When it's the end circle, this is when the pressure builds in. This is when you need to actually put your strategies on the line, and you need those support players to actually do their job like really crucially as they want to. But at the same time, like also utility usage might be really on point by the support players. The smoke utilization, the way they're going to be playing, the way they're going to be making the room for their team. It's definitely going to be quite interesting to see. And we also saw yesterday a little bit of glimpse of that.
Yeah, we certainly did. And, a lot of big names did, of course, pop up on our screens today, because we also have George. So he's also one of those players to look out for. I think he was earlier playing for Train to Kill, if my memory serves me right. And it was a collaboration, of course, with another Singaporean org of Skylights Gaming. So apart from that, like you were mentioning, the Nepali teams usually in the early game tend to avoid fights. And that's the way to go for them, because it's kind of a similar gameplay style style of what we experience in the Chinese region, right? So, and of course, if you have to talk in the realms of PUBG Mobile, Chinese regions really dominate, and they have established the dominance over in the GC. Of course, Team Nova XQF getting the title. So we have of course seen a certain improvement from every single tournament from these lads. So I would expect nothing less today because we've got those big names like I already mentioned. So I think we are gonna see some kill heavy teams. Yesterday, um, too much hype kind of lived up to their name. I was expecting a lot out of them, not really living up to the standards with the kind of players that they had. You know, they had Captain, they had the likes of Divine. So Divine did try to stay alive for a while. But today we have the real roster. That's Team Hype, the real hype coming in. And the boys, Gurkha, they are all charged up. I've been knowing this lad almost since about a year and a half right now. And where are they playing? You can see the groups, the teams from rather Group C and D, they'll be contesting against each other in these four maps in front of your screens right now. Two Erangels, one Sanhok, and one Miramar.
Exactly, pretty much the same map pool as we saw it last time. But as you were talking about Team Hype, right? Of course, they have a lot of potential. At the same time, they do have a lot of strategic advantage because these guys are some OG players when it comes to PUBG Esports. Now,
Yeah.
as we talked about some passive and strategic gameplay, Team Hype might be a little bit up there, but at the same time, yesterday they didn't really show us their 100%. So we cannot really like just them on that basis. We of course need to get them some more chances. But of course, these are some OG players, and these guys have a lot of talent. At the same time, we just need to give them some space to breathe.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like I love to say, you do not really wake up on the right side of the bed every single day. So, yesterday was kind of a night that they would want to forget. But then again, you need to go back to the drawing board and see what the mistakes were made by your team. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally on with our first game. That's in Erangel, and quite an interesting and a rather beneficial flight path for all these teams because now you've got multiple options. It's kind of dissecting the maps into two halves, so a lot of regions are in contention. So the teams will rather get into their respective drop location. We'll get on with the loot, and let's see how the game kind of unfolds.
Exactly. I mean, we're seeing like some teams going. For example, if we take a look at DM4, right? Seems like they're going to be contesting the Stalwart area, even maybe Kameshki, if it's quite possible. But yeah, the plane fly path is definitely going to be favoring all the other teams that have been strategizing or where they want to drop, or at least like for example, if a team actually had the strategy to drop a Severny, and if a plane fly path comes like this, it's going to be way much more easier for them to actually contest Severny and also execute all the strategies, and it would just be easily going all in their favor. But now, especially when we talk about strategies and when it's the Nepal region, of course the executing strategy willpower will be a lot more than the other teams. Now, Sasnoka military base, there's literally no one inside military base, and I'm pretty sure BD Baza will actually capitalize on that situation, and I'm pretty sure these guys are definitely going to be scouting the areas around. Well, if these guys actually know that the military base is completely clear, I feel like these guys will move inside and get all that juicy loot for themselves. But there's inside the circle, as you guys can see, it's just a lot of early vehicle contestations coming in. They're going to be contesting a lot of vehicles, just getting those vehicles in your hands early off, so not other teams can steal them, and then you can just start looting as fast as you can. But what is exactly going on here?
All
Early
right.
kill off to H2O, going to be losing a player early off. That's pretty unfortunate because they both just got into the same car, and H2O just got bonkers by 4MS there. Absolute
Oh,
unfortunate for Summer, going to be losing a player off early.
I mean, what a way to start things off. I mean, no one could have possibly anticipated that, but yes, for MS really being the smarter one of the bunch, he was in the driver's seat. You do not have any weapons. You are helpless. And he did not. I mean, what would you have done? I'm racing the car. You know that you're going to step out. You're going to get knocked out either way. So he rather, made that intelligent play, getting him towards his teammate, then, of course, securing that knock. But moving on forward, we have a kind of a northern circle again around maybe Jasnaya or Mansion being the end zone is what I would like to predict. So for MS having the start that they really wanted, and of course having players like Poison who've got that experience backing them up, I think it's coming from these lads, these call outs. So I really have to see what do they have to offer tonight.
Exactly. I mean, of course, they have a lot to offer. Come on. We're talking about the Nepal region, right? They have those strategies, they have the passive gameplay, and they have their mentality online over here, especially when you're talking about such a massive money. There's just going to be in more double strength if we. I mean, it's like when you're playing the normal games, yeah, already these players are just like absolutely dominating and just like duking on everybody. But at the same time, if we take like a massive tournament like this, which is going to be putting on a lot of money on the point, yeah, they're definitely going to be contesting a lot of like a lot of strategies, and of course like some of like the last second decisions will also come in through when we're talking about like games like this, right? Not all the time the things are going to be going your way the way you thought it out, and this is when these all professional teams actually come into play, and this is when the team synergy, the team I like the team experience, as we like to talk about, comes in, because if you know how your team is going to be thinking and if you know how your team is going to be playing the situation out, you can work around it. And the experience almost like helps you out with all those.
Yeah, it certainly does. But now moving on forward, we've seen a lot of these players, and to be honest, 4 men strong is what they would like to call themselves. They, of course, are a closely knit unit. They've been playing like that. I would expect this kind of a team play coming in from this particular squad. So then again, I would like to take a look at the other teams as well in contention over here. Vibes Esports is definitely a name, that Ansh has been, of course, talking about, my Nepali brother. And he's been talking all about praises, and he's been saying this is a team that is definitely going to dominate. And he's got his money on this particular team. And, well, hype, of course. And now an interesting tidbit. So yesterday we did see the players of Too Much Hype going towards the Gatka region, and now this particular squad of Hype also loves to go around the Gatka region. So when these two groups collide, I guess we might get to see some kind of an early skirmish between them, which is gonna make the things really interesting.
Exactly. I mean, when we're talking about especially interesting things like, I mean, right now, if we actually focus inside the game and let's stop talking about other things. If we take a look at this game right now, nothing really happening here. Fixes. Like
Yeah.
nothing really special things happening. I just feel like right now what most of the teams are doing is just like taking their peaceful time looting, and at the same time thinking and strategizing out how they're going to be playing onto the next zone. Right now, most of the time, like what is exactly going on in these players' mind is they'll probably start guessing the zones, and they're like, okay, if the zone lands here, what is the best possible situation we can go? Where is the best possible spot we can contest? Which is the best possible compound that we are going to be easily able to get that? And of course, it has to be somewhere around in the center of the zone. So of course, like not everyone's going to be able to get those center zone positioning, but at the same time you can at least try your best to get those center zones. But if you take a look at all these other squads, right, look at this, look at in the center of the zone, there's so many squads there. There's literally a CAG, then there's another one like TGT, and there's like just like two more squads just lurking around, just hanging around there in that same area. But at the same time, Yasna Polayana means there's a lot of tall buildings, a lot of cover. At the same time, you also do get that high ground advantage.
Yeah, I mean, this was something that we were really anticipating, aren't we? Because the Nepali teams, like we've mentioned, this is a pattern. They love to tend to take those early rotations into its center and then just hold it out up until the point the circle really comes down to them. And I believe after the fifth or the sixth circle, we might get to see some, really, really hot action erupting out from these players. So Yasnaya definitely being a hot spot like we had predicted. But I'm a dreamer. I really want the circle to be going all the way up top towards Talbot, and that's gonna make things a whole lot more interesting. Because if it's going to go towards Yasnaya, then you need to have those grenades coming out. Then you have those tall apartment buildings, which are really, really difficult to push. So a lot of other factors really come around, and we have seen in those final circles zones, majorly, they kind of tend to shift towards the western side, or maybe towards somewhere in the open. So a lot of speculations can be made. We just need to let the game breathe and speak for itself.
Exactly. I mean, as you guys can take a look at shooting range and all the area is completely clear. If some of the teams actually decide to rotate from that area, I feel like they might just secure themselves some of the most safest spots they can. But if you take a look at Team Bo or B0, we're talking about. If we take a look at that team, they're going to be getting inside from the bottom right of the corner. Now, if they use the same path that they're using with their cars, yeah, they can get like till prison a little bit safe. But after then they keep on using that path, they're definitely going to get caught off by the rotations the way they're making. They're definitely going to be getting caught off by the other teams around lurking around there. But yeah, there's still a solid chance that they might just run away and actually grab themselves a decent spot in the whole map. But yeah, it also comes with a lot of risk.
Yeah, it certainly does come with a lot of risk, as you mentioned. And here we have, the teams. I really like this kind of rotation from these lads. They've gone in, they've dropped in, they've got their loot, they've secured the vehicles. Now they're just holding down onto its the compound. So now they're just gonna move according to how the zone is gonna make a shift. A lot of teams have a different approach towards the game here, right? So a lot of teams, we did see majority of them rather kind of contesting for the center. Now, this is the kind of a gameplay that we did get to see in the map of Vikendi, which we are not going to play any longer. But there you have the first airdrop, the AUG A3. And yeah, you love it. Let's see if any of the team does, take that risk to come in and take this beautiful drop.
I mean, yesterday we did see a lot of Nepali players actually going for those drops and contesting those and it's like taking them in their hands, which I actually really appreciate because, like we previously saw Bangladesh region, right? And no
Yeah.
one really went for those drops in that region. But yesterday when when we were casting the Nepal region as well, we definitely saw a lot of teams actually going for those drops and prioritizing them because they do know how helpful some guns can be in some kind of situation and in some kind of fight. For example, if you find the MK14, you can also use that gun in close range, also in long range. I feel like MK14 has to be one of the best drop weapons so far. What do you think, so?
Yeah, of course. I mean, MK14 has to be my favorite weapon because just on the sole purpose of the versatility
He
that
almost ran
this
his teammate over.
yeah. I mean, come on. Thank God friendly fire is off up until the point you just grenade your teammate. But we do have a fight amongst us. And, well, Katakuri, he's looking around. And he's got a lot of players. Right now, Nemo spraying down,
Yep.
peppering those bullets. But hasn't really seemed to connect a lot.
Exactly. Going to be taking a little bit of damage in the process, though, but Nemo is definitely safe. Now, his teammates, he has to wait for his teammates to get him a little bit of cover, but at the same time, Poison decides to just leave the fight and realizes that Nemo definitely has his teammate around. So just capitalizes on the situation and knows the positioning of the enemy and actually making a pretty smart decision just to back off because as you guys can see, right, Nemo's teammates are just next to him in the barns and they can literally just start flooding in if he actually decided to challenge the fight. So I feel like that was actually a pretty smartful decision or smart decision, as we say, by him to actually back off and just like maturely go to his teammate and then collect some more loot and then just chill out.
Yeah, I mean, now the players of Delta M4 Esports, they've taken a kind of rather high ground position, which I really like because, and they have a good cover. They've had the players split up. One of them is playing around the wizard town, so that's a quite interesting and the proper way that you need to approach. But guys are actually going in for some hot pursuit after each other, having those dashes, just clashing it around. They never intended to do, but it's okay. But, well, moving on with the game, we have Team 4MS. They've already got that early first blood, but now look at Clown. That was a beautiful, beautiful trigger discipline on his Scarrel, and he connected those shots. He got that knock, and Sting. Well, well, well. Denta M4 Esports taping up right off the bat, getting those beautiful knocks, and suddenly, Team Vibes in a whole world of trouble.
Exactly. Vibes already has their two players knocked down. It's only 2-on-4 situation. At the same time, Clown is just tunnel visioning onto Zod there. Doesn't really want to make him just like doesn't really want to get him off his eyesights because that is a free 1 kill point there. And I feel like if they actually manage to thirst these two, that's definitely going to be like 2 kill points right in their hands. But at the same time, DM4 is not going to be going too aggressive because that might just give their position away. At the same time, I feel like DM4 is in actually a really great spot, but Vibes is coming, like the backup is coming, the reinforcement is coming. I'm pretty sure the smoke's going to be going in through as well pretty soon because we already see Malik there standing right behind the tree. I'm probably sure the utility usage might be coming in soon. Yep, as we talk about, the utility usage has come in through. And Malik going to be getting that res in, but Clown seems like he's not going to be falling back here. Clown is going to be taking his Dacia towards him. Hopefully, I mean, I don't really know. I feel like pushing that fight actually would make sense because when you actually push those, one thing you already know, that two of them are going to be literally on 1 HP. They're going to be low as hell. And those can be some easy kills to actually contest for your team. But at the same time, yeah, you might lose one player or you might at least take a lot of damage or you might just go down. But yeah, there's a high chance that you're actually going to be taking them down. But at the same time, Cloud, as I said, he is going to be pushing the fight. I feel like Vibes is doing actually a pretty good tactical usage of their nades and of their smoke grenades, as we talked about. Malik going to be healing behind the rock, making sure not getting spammed by Clown there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, now we did see Hungry Box from Team Vibe retaliating in fashion, but is this going to be enough? Because Malik has already been taken down yet again, and Clown getting that beautiful knock onto it. Shinx will, of course, get that kill confirmed, and here comes the push. Nemo just charging in, will want to secure all these kills, while Hungry Box, he is hungry, we do know that, but he is helpless. He needs to run for his life as his teammates did fall one after the other like a stack of dominoes.
Exactly. I mean, DM4 is absolutely just dominating right now. And I feel like what they could more do was just back off, and this is what they exactly did. Because DM4 seemed like they were on a killing spree right there. Anyone would come in front of DM4, I feel like they would have just easily taken them down. But at the same time, we talk about Genzi. Genzi boy taking a little bit of damage, but at the same time, if we take a look at Genzi's teammates, yeah, they are also down, but Demon has those smokes up for himself, so that would definitely give him a temporary cover, and just to heal himself, give him a little bit more time. But yeah, I feel like Demon is also in a really great spot, but TX Reef is going to be rotating to another of his teammates, taking those US towards them, making sure he's being as safe as he can, but at the same time getting shot in the back in the process of rotating. Here comes the smoke in, making sure he's getting his vehicle as safe as he can. The US needs to be secure because they might need the US in the late rotation, but doesn't really seem like he cares. He's going to use it as a temporary cover. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's obviously, ought to happen because these are those end circles, right? You've got to do it. And oh my goodness, my wishes have been granted, Decro. We do see a northern zone, and that is exactly how I wanted it to be. Now everything possibly changes as we have Reed getting a beautiful knock instead of... in fact, he got traded off as well. Now Team CAG, they are actually pushing, and Team Extreme. This is a team that has a lot of experience. Last time around, the PMCO sadly could not make it into the PMPL last time around, but this time they are in here with a vengeance, in a kind of a mood that they need to get their lost glory back. And they have started off really well. They've got a very good high ground position. They are pressing really hard onto the players of CAG, but we'll have to let this place simmer down because we couldn't see Monk with a beautiful
that nade was close. Yeah,
almost taking down the players of Team Extreme.
Exactly. What a beautiful nade from Monk, though. I mean, he did try his best. He doesn't really have like the exact position of the enemy team, of course. But yeah, that was a lethal try, and I would give it to him. That was absolutely good nade. But at the same time, if we take a look at CAG, right? It seems like they're actually in a decent positioning, but there's literally a team right in front of them. So if they decide to like leave their position and even is just go like a little bit further, they might get spotted by the team in front of them, and they might be in a little bit of pickle here because Team TX is right on to the right. So I feel like by capitalizing on that situation, they have to work around it, but I'm pretty sure if we're watching Nepal Region, they will probably figure a way out around that. But if we take a look at Team 18, they have spotted some vehicles out, so now they definitely know that there are some people in front of them. So it doesn't really seem like they're going to be taking those aggressive peaks, but at the same time, they're just going to be trying to spot out any easy kills as they can. But H2O Eplex has been contested by the enemy team, as we see Bo Baza just spraying their cars down, making he just wants to bust this car down, to be honest, because if he actually busts that car down, they might get 2 free kills because yeah, he's definitely getting revived. So I feel like busting the car was a pretty like main priority here. But at the same time, BD, one of the BD members has been gone down. Shady is going to be a lot more disappointed. 69, yeah, 69 Hitty is going to be a lot more disappointed on the way he just got down. I feel like he just got completely melted by the enemy team there.
He certainly did. But right now, we have the players of TDP. They are also going to have a fight of their own. But what we do have in front of us, it's for MS going against Team the Gukali Titans. So we got to see how this fight really comes out. And I believe they did manage to wipe out a certain squad. No, this fight is still on. We have Zinjoin trying to join the fray along with his teammate, trying to push in tandem. How is this fight going to come out as we shift to yet another fight where we have the players of Blood Esports hungry for blood? They need something around, and the Freak, he's doing majority of the damage. He's got one, he's got the second one as well. Can he clutch it out? He's going in for those confirmations, but he needs to reload. But that was a small mistake that he did commit, and with that, down goes H20 Esports.
H20 Esports definitely going to be a lot more disappointed, headbutting their desks after that one. But hey, we got to give them some props. Yeah, they absolutely did try their best, but the other team definitely came out on top. But if we take a look at Team BD here, they are definitely in a little bit of trouble using those smokes to get that more kind of cover if we talk about. But I feel like they are in a decent spot, like looking at that, because they have the best cover inside the zone. But yeah, they are in the center bit, so they are definitely going to get focused by a lot of teams. But beautiful spray coming in from Apra there with a M46X spray. Another one almost gets him down as well, and there goes another one. It's definitely going to be a lot more disappointed. Apra, what are you doing? That was insanely beastly spray coming in from a long range, and Trusty Process has been completely eliminated. What
Yeah, absolutely. Paragon, he's actually gone godlike right now with the way he's kind of playing team number 16, Team Ekta, one of those new teams that we are supposed to be looking out for. Demon spraying down with his DP28, hammering down his opponents. And there you have Genzi Boy kind of finding the players of Mandala, being sandwiched between two different squads. And Brig, how on earth is he even alive just with a sliver of HP? Any single moment, the boys from Ekta are definitely going to push on towards him, and he is going to meet his makers pretty soon. But he's kind of healed up right now. He's kind of shrouded in the smokes, but how long is the question in hand, because now the players, of course, of Team Ekta have their eyes onto the team that's Stream Hacker Esports, who are kind of on the lower ground. But I think team number 16 that we have, Ekta, in contention, did find Hungry Box, and this is one of the players. Barrow got 4 kills already, and he is just not looking like he wants to stop.
Vibes, unfortunate situation. They're gonna get completely eliminated out of this game, out of the first game. But I'm pretty sure there are some more. There are 3 more games coming up. Vibes can definitely show off their skills there. But if we take a look at Apara, he is absolutely dominating in this position that he has, and it feels like Apara is actually so comfortable in this position that he's actually challenging those fights easily and coming out victorious. So I feel like he needs to keep on holding the position as long as he can and try to get those kills for his teammates, while at the same time he's actually farming a lot of team points for him. But if we take a look at Mr. Spy, just doing a little bit of damage to the vehicle, making sure he just wants to hit their toes. Doesn't really seem like he's going to be able to make any kind of damage there, but at the same time, those are just more kind of like a scary shots, just to try to scare them away, that so they cannot rotate outside from their temporary cover. But one guy goes like if you guys take a look at Team 10 here, so I feel like all 4 of them are alive. They are looking healthy, but at the same time they are gonna get forced by the zone. Rotating out from here is gonna be a tough task. They have to challenge the fight that is going to be happening in front of them, and how are they going to be working around that peacefully is definitely going to be more tough choice if they do not want to challenge the fight. As I said, like if you want to work around peacefully, that's going to be a lot more harder, but seems like all of them are actually on fire, and Glord goes down.
I mean, Fishtail Esports really running into that Molotov, and Lot, he's already down. It all comes down to whizzing. And what is he up to? Because they still need to get inside the circle. They have their vehicles blown up, but now, yes, they have still got a dasher remaining. Four players in a single dasher, that's a really bad idea. But taking the mature decision out of here, not being able to revive Lord because the zone has started to close in. And look at Nawachi, the way he's getting knocks after the other. Team Ekta, oh my goodness, 10 kills already, and they do not seem like they want to stop.
Hype has been eliminated out of the game. As we were talking about, this was the team with the most experience and team synergy, but Hype unfortunately has been eliminated out. Wasn't really able to show much in the first game there, but at the same time, 4MS is absolutely 4MS is having the game of their life, but this might be the turning situations for them. Now FT Ali has two players in front of him. He's just bobbing and weaving, trying to dodge as the shots as he can, but Ali is going to be taken down by Team 17 there. Ali is going to be a lot more disappointed because he had a lot of people in front of him. Oh, sorry, it's not Team 17. It's going to be Team 12, which is going to be SES. So Zoro was the one who actually took him down. So I mean, this is what I'm talking about. 4MS has been eliminated completely. He was the last one. He tried his best to like survive and try to take a lot more people as he can, but at the same time, he didn't come out victorious because the positioning of that team, of Team 12, was just really good. There was another teammate who was going to be there to assist anytime soon, but as we talk about assisting, beautiful nade coming from Team 5. They're going to be doing not a lot of damage, but yeah, still, that was an absolute good nade for the concussion itself. So now Nesh is going to be hiding behind the temporary boxes there, but he's also stuck. If he tries to rotate inside, he might be in a massive trouble. But Apara, who was the one dominating a lot, is gonna get backstabbed by another team. Now Apara is in a bit of a pickle right over here, but yeah, the res should not be that hard to get. Apara is gonna get back up. He's gonna heal himself and gonna get back to his work.
Yeah, he certainly will be. But look at Team Ekta. Already 13 kills they've collected for themselves, and they have the best position in the circle up until now, where we do see the shift going in the favor of the players of Team Extreme. Now, Ekta Paragon, he is doing so much damage. He's not gonna let the players of 4 Men Strong really trying to come in anytime soon. He's kept them at bay. But now, we are in a situation where Team Extreme can change the tides into their favor as Genzi Boy, he's just peppering down those bullets onto his Mr. Chetri. And any single moment, the moment all these teams, start trying to close in, that's when teams like Team Ekta and Team Extreme are going to capitalize and bring the numbers down. We still have 4 teams in contention, 14 players alive. Let's see who gets the chicken.
Exactly. I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see who gets the chicken. But one thing we're definitely noticing a lot is a lot of the team actually have most of their teammates up. So it's almost like 3 or above. But yes, there are some definitely teams that do have like some duos alive, or maybe we don't. I feel like one of the team actually has all of their teammates up, and then there are just those 2 teams who have three of their people up from all over the place. But seems like and Wachi going to be taking a little bit of damage in the process of hurting the enemy team, but it doesn't really matter. He gets back to the cover safely. But seems like Ekta is going to be taking the drop in there, taking the drop control. And yeah, Ekta seems like they're actually in a really good spot where they are. And yeah, they might have to move soon though. The zone is coming, and as we talk about, there comes the first casualty for Ekta. Alpara is actually going down a lot. These recently, another one goes down. Nesh is going to be a lot more disappointed. Ekta, is this going to be a wipeout? And yes, this is going to be a wipeout. Rampage. There comes the Genzi Boy, sorry. Genzi Boy was the one who actually absolutely just pops off on Ekta there, as Ekta wasn't really able to do much. That beautiful Molotov, the beautiful nades, and just beautiful utilization just got him that squad wipe there. Ekta Esports has been taken down by him.
Yeah, they certainly have been. And right now, we still have team number 12. That's So Great Esports. They've come out of nowhere. They've been silent the whole time. Now, Team Extreme, they'd really have a very, very good chance of winning this one around. And we also do have 4 Men Strong. Well, they've got 2 players remaining now, and they've made it so far. Right off the bat, they were looking really aggressive. And beg my pardon, there's 3. Poison just comes out of nowhere. And right now, the best position, of course, is being held by the players of Team Extreme, having that slight high ground advantage. But we are yet to see the eighth circle. It's gonna start closing off in
Oh my god.
just 15 seconds, and this might be really deadly if that grenade connects. But no, the Molotov's not doing anything out of it. That enemy is not being flushed out, and we just have to see how this Mexican standoff turns out to be.
Exactly. I mean, as we can see, all these teams are just proning inside here because all the cover they have is just the ridge in front of them and a little bit of trees. So we've seen a lot more open zones today over here. Fixes like even in the previous Bangladesh tournament that was happening, there was one of the Erangel maps where it was like a complete open zone, and all they could do was just prone and try to get as much as cover as they can and just use those surroundings as much as they can. But at the same time, if we take a look at all these teams at least have 3 of their teammates up. But now we talk about 4MS. Ninja has already gone down. Another one going down. 4MS is in a massive disadvantage here now. 4 men strong has been taken out, completely eliminated out of the game. SES Mr. Zordo P gonna be trying to revive his teammate, while SES Mr. Unit doesn't really seem like he wants to challenge this fight. He's just proning around. He's just chilling out, while Niku is going to be just moving inside the zone slowly and slowly and slowly. So it's a 2-on-3 situation. It's definitely going to be a lot more hard to see which team is going to be coming out on top, because both of the teams have been playing really well all this far. And as we talk about a lot of shots being fired in the process, SES Mr. Unit going to be taking down one. Now it's all down to Tenzi Boy, and that's going to be another kill. SES is going to get that chicken dinner.
Wow, I mean, so great esports coming out of nowhere. They were calm, they were patient, they were waiting for the time, they waited for the zone to kick in, and when the moment came, they just went ham right on towards the faces of the players of Team Extreme. And wow, what an amazing first game that we did get to witness, Necro. I mean, I was looking at the game all the while, and I was just watching. I mean, I really thought for a moment that Ekta Esports just might have it, but that was not the case. The moment the zone really shifted onto its the players of Team Extreme, that is where things started falling down for them, one after the other, just going down up until the point they were eliminated. But yeah, huge props to the players from 4MS. They really played well. But now let's take a look at the MVP of this particular game, and let's see who's that one player gonna be, and that has to be Genzi Boy. For a second, I thought that might be Paragon, but that was not the case. Genzi Boy still held on. So one of those new names really coming out from a roster that we've been seeing for so long time. So 7 kills, 848 damage is a really good stat to really start off with.
Exactly. Genzi Boy was definitely the one doing a lot of stuff in all those games. I mean, in that first game, sorry. So Genzi Boy was the one who actually did try to like do his best and try to get like overall stuff. But if you guys take a look at these top player stats, right? For example, Apara, he was doing so good with his M4. So I'm not gonna lie, Apara, he actually quite impressed me with those 4 kills that he got, and I feel like all of them were just like long range M4 kills and M4 sprays, to be honest. And those sprays were actually so on point because he was also spraying the car down at the same time, doing a lot of damage in the people inside in the car. And when they got out, he actually transferred his spray over to the guys without stopping the spray.
Yeah, I mean, this match was completely ludicrous. The way it just erupted, we were just waiting for the late mid game to kick in. And, with that kind of a shift towards the northern side, nobody was really prepared. A few teams, however, were. But Ekta Esports did have the best position. Like I mentioned, up until the point it went towards Team Extreme. But huge props to them. Amazing gameplay. And this is what is the reason, the motive why we are having these PMCOs, because we need to see these neat talents coming up every single day. And like Genzi Boy, he's the MVP right now in this particular match. But if we take a look at the other players as well, so we have from Fishtail, Mr. An OP, who's got that longest distance kill, but Paragon, he has to get the highest damage, 1228. He was absolutely everywhere.
Yeah, Apara was definitely doing a lot much more, as we talked about those M466 sprays. It's like it's not going to be securing you kills all the time, but yeah, one thing is definitely going to be securing you is you are going to be getting that damage built up really fast as well, because M4 success is auto, of course. M4 is auto, but at the same time, if you're going to be able to use that long range precisely, it's definitely going to be helping you a lot in those long range gunfights. At the same time, just beating the enemy out in those fight times.
Yeah, of course. I mean, with the first game now being over, I can imagine the action that is waiting for us in Sanhok. All these teams going after each other, not shying away. And it kind of gets a lot tedious, for everybody because during those last final circles, teams are just going after each other. And at the same time, I mean, we barely get to see the other fights as well. So many fights going simultaneously. But, we have to talk about the circle, how it really panned out. And in circles like this, when I was really wishing for a Stalber circle, which was actually granted, you get that high altitude, right? You've got that plateau where you have to place yourselves. But like I mentioned, why do I love the position of Ekta Esports so much? And why am I talking about them? The only simple reason is their split. They had two of those players on those rocky areas that had a dip, and two of their players positioned in the compound. We did see for a moment, in one particular moment, where Paragod was knocked, right? But the trade-off was right there. The angles were well covered. It was just, it's a battle royal game after all, right? You cannot really predict the final circle. It can go anywhere. It blows our mind completely. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the map rankings and see how this first match turned out to be for all these teams.
There you go, Team Extreme, as always, just gonna be on the top there. But the thing is, like, Extreme, yeah, they did play a lot good this game. But one thing I definitely saw lacking from Team Extreme was those utility uses, Frixus. So I feel like, yeah, they did try their best on getting those utility uses on point, but I still feel like there wasn't just like a lot more utilities in use when it came to from them.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Socrates getting that chicken, but Ekta and Team Extreme. That's the way you're supposed to play. That's the way you're gonna get those kills. I mean, 14 kills individually to reach respective team. That makes it 28, and I mean that is almost half of the lobby being wiped out right over there. So you can see, and do not really blame these players because, to be honest. They do not have a lot of utilities, like you mentioned. How would they? Because they've been engaging in all those fights, and in those final circles, you cannot really go and loot a dead crate. As we take a look at our beautiful Oppo moments, this is how everything happened. And for a second, I was really thinking that Team DM4 might just go big, but it was all about the zone game that really happened, and it changed a lot of things.
Exactly. Of course, zone does change the entire course of the map, and everything just relies around the zone, right? I mean, this is how it works. The zone is the boss. If you don't listen to the zones, if you're not going to obey the zone, of course, you're absolutely going to get like contested by everybody. At the same time, zone's going to be doing you a lot of damage, so you have to always keep the zone in your mind and play around it. But zone's definitely going to be a lot more different in all the sides, and as we were talking about, like, actually getting those strategies inside the game, and especially when you're playing inside the tournament and stuff like that, yeah, it's going to be way much more harder to like utilize your strategies and putting them on the table, especially on a stage like this.
Yeah, I mean, of course. Now let's get back to our first game disappointments over here, Vibe. Because this is a team that we've been all looking out for. And two of their players I think things were going smooth up until the point that they were just cranking out traversing around the map, and they met the players of DM4. And those beautiful, crispy shots coming out, two players getting instantly knocked away. Of course, Hungry Box did try to retaliate in fashion, but I think it was kind of too late because the players were way too much in the open. The revives could not come in. They did get that revive on that one play, but again, then DM4 just comes in and takes down two more, and all Hungry Box could do was just run from that situation. He tried to stay alive for so long, but it was our boy Paragon that took him down in the end. And Team Ekta Esports, like I again mentioned, they've been playing so well. So of course, DM4 is another team that I would definitely have my eyes on. But next map is Sanhok. Anything can possibly happen. You get that RNG factor coming in. Team Hype. Okay, so this is also another team that we need to talk about. They were there. They got a few kills, but that's just it. In terms of position points, they were kind of eliminated pretty early. So not the kind of an outing that these big guns would be really wanting. But that's all from our side for the first game. Now we will, of course, be heading for a short little break because coming up right next is Sanhok. All right, we are still looking at ourselves. Yeah. Now there you go. The overall ranking, rather.
Oh,
my
a little bit of
apologies there.
miscommunication there.
Yeah. And then, Team Corps, of course, having the first position with
Yep.
61 points. The
All props to
second team,
Killer.
yeah, yeah, of course, the way he's been playing, that's amazing. But as we
Yep.
move along forward, few teams have, of course, taken a step down. As we can see a lot of teams, So Great Esports, that beautiful chicken coming there from their side, and Team Extreme Ekta Esports, they've all made it to the top. Now, look at these teams, 7DS, X Cube, they've all played their games yesterday. Now, what they can be doing is just be watching these games from the sidelines because they'll be looking at, coming back tomorrow. So now, as we move along further, we can see it's just the first game for all these teams. So by the end of the day, I'm gonna say this: we're gonna see a completely different picture in the overall rankings.
Exactly, of course. I mean, yeah, as the games progress on, as the everything just progresses on, at the same time, we are going to be seeing a lot more points on the table as well as a lot more kills, and that's just going to be adding a lot more points as well. I mean, hopefully we don't see a back-to-back chicken dinner over here, because then that might just be a massive problem for the top 3 teams that are already on the leaderboard.
Yeah, of course. And now we did see our top 32 teams over here, and a few of them have not been able to kick it off. But as these games progresses in Sanhok, I'm telling you, it's going to be a totally different story because it's so difficult to control the situation. At least in Sanhok with the RNG factor that we've been talking about kicking in. So right now we will be heading for a short little break. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been quite an eventful show that we have been seeing so far. All these teams performing so very well. Now, we did see Socrates Esports, of course, being the smarter one of the lot, Necro. But as we move into Sanhok, from what you just saw in Erangel, do you have any prediction that you need to make? Just give me a name.
I mean, of course, if we talk about Ikta, right? Apara has been doing a fantastic job with the M46X, and I feel like M46X is going to be a lot more meta, and especially in a map like Sanhok, because yeah, you're going to be taking a lot of those mid-range and close-range fights. But at the same time, if it's a close-range fight, you can just use the hip fire off the M4. I feel like it's decently accurate, and in the mid-range fight, yeah, M46X is just an absolute beamer.
Yeah, it certainly is. And M46X has been like there since around 2 years, right from the inception. This is kind of broken. I've always been telling, this weapon needs to be nerfed a bit because the way these teams are, you just get that M4 6 times, reduce it down to the 3 times. It's pretty much laser. Just, crouch down or just prone in. you can take anyone down, just if it's the sliver of the pixels, being visible to you. But with that being said, I really want to see a Western Circle tonight, because we've seen a lot of the centralized zones in Sanhok, and I believe my wishes have been granted. And without any further ado, let's just head into the map of Sanhok and see how these teams are going to perform, because you've got so many teams maybe contesting maybe for the boot camp area, the Paradise region, another hotspot. So yeah, the flight path trajectory again kind of repetitive, to be honest, going all the way from Cow towards the docks area.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty good plane fly path as we were talking about, especially Soundhawk when it comes around like the traveling. It's just a really small map. You don't really need to like prioritize vehicles that much, unless if you just are aiming for those center circles, which is what happens 70% of the time. A lot of teams just want to get those center position inside the circle. Right now, ruins is going to be the main focus for most of the teams here, but I don't really think so. A lot of teams are going to be contesting for ruins or are going to be going for ruins. If a lot of team also drop on the Tambang or Nakam and Samhi, if we talk about, we have one of the teams going Samhi too. But Vibe seems like they're going to be doing a pretty wise choice going to Nakam. Not going to be too aggressive early off. Yep, as we were talking about Nepal region, they don't really like to be too aggressive and just give their people away. But yeah, we need to also take a look at Ekta though. They are playing pretty safe on the completely outskirts of the map, just taking those safe spots. But now, if we take a look inside over here in Paradise Resort, we already have one knockdown happening. It's going to be happening on the TGT Viper, going down early in the game, also bleeding to death, and TDP IR2 was the first blood taken down. Now, that was the absolute beautiful first blood coming in, and that was actually so early. So now TGT is in a massive world of trouble. Now, TGT needs to back off from this compound, or needs to back out from Paradise Resort, because it doesn't really seem like they want to risk their lives into getting these fights in, because the way their first teammate got knocked out was definitely a lot more remarkable coming in from TOP side, because the way one of their teammates just got knocked was just absolutely so fast and quick that I'm pretty sure the other team just does not want to challenge it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that has to be the house. That has to be the home of TDP, because they've been loving Paradise for quite some time. And, of course, the Kakali Titans, they'd want to have a taste of it, Like, come on, you're getting into a rainforest, you find a beautiful, beautiful resort. And who would not want to chill? They did go there, but it was not the right kind of vacation that they had, not the right kind of a treatment that they did receive. Viper, of course, losing out on his health, and of course being kicked out of the lobby, by the players. But moving on. Now they've kind of backed off. They need to loot these smaller compounds, and we'll have to see as to how they're going to progress. But I think today is sort of being my day. Whatever I'm wishing for, I'm getting that. Now with the new circle that has been formed, it's kind of tending to it to go towards the western side. So a lot of teams need to go in for that early rotations if they need to have a good chance at winning this one out.
Exactly. I mean, of course, winning this one out as we talk about. I mean, of course, yeah, we can't just be judging off at the start, and we can't just be saying who's going to be having the best chance of winning this. But yeah. I mean, they might have a solid chance of winning unless they don't just make a silly mistake and decide to just give away their position really easily.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now they're just moving around. They need to find some loot, because they did plan to go towards Paradise. That certainly did not happen. They were just pushed back. So now they have to come with a new strat. But taking a look at Team Hype, they've taken that drop on towards the bootcamp region, and they are at the second rotation. So surrounded by the players of Team Harame. So we got Milgen, we've got Goon. So these players did go for those early loot, instantly rotated around. Now just waiting for the players of Hype to be out in the open. And they're hungry. Any
Exactly,
single
of course.
moment. Yeah.
Any single moment. I mean, hype hasn't been showing up since the previous days, and hype needs to do some things for themselves to like actually get the hype back for themselves. They need to show them. They need to show us. They need to show the people that what they're capable of doing, and they need to show how they're going to be putting their strategies in the game and on the table. How they're just going to be utilizing the utilities for themselves, and how they're going to be contesting those kills one by one, slowly and steadily, climbing the leaderboard. And of course, it's not going to be impossible for a team like hype. Hype, right? We have seen them in the competitive scene for a really long time. For example, Gurkha, he is one of the really talented players that Hype has to offer. And at the same time, Hype can definitely show us a lot more talent and a lot more strategy plays when it comes to PUBG.
Yeah, I mean, hype has always been there, right from the scene started in Nepal. One of those founding teams, if you can say the community builders. We've seen teams like Elementrix, we've seen teams like Hype, we have seen teams like Salty Squad. It's all started from there. Just a bunch of friends making teams together to play with each other, and suddenly it all got competitive. Now the Nepal region comprises of so many teams, so many talents coming in every single year. But lo and behold, the first airdrop, Necro, that's the MK14. I mean, this gun is loud, but I would not mind that because the kind of a damage this gun has, that's really, really massive.
Exactly. I mean, it doesn't really matter even if it's loud, at that point, because no matter what gun you shoot with, even if it's an M4, yeah, you're going to be revealing your position, especially in a map like Sanhok, because this is a really small map, right? And you have to expect that there are going to be people all across you. So the more safer you play, the more stuff you play, it's going to be, of course, like going to be important. But when we talk about taking those initial fights, if you don't have any other choice, yeah, of course, you are going to be revealing your position. But at the same time, yeah, you can change your you can reposition yourself into any other spots, or at least if you are pinned down behind a rock, just like Hermit is right now, and he doesn't really realize that. Hype Gurkha does have his eye on that rock though. But yeah, as I was talking about, if you are pinned behind just one cover that you got, you can definitely use your utilities to flush the enemy out, or you can just smoke yourself out and just make a path or make temporary cover for yourself to get out of the tricky situations.
Absolutely. Now we do see a kind of a lull in the lobby because the players of 4 men strong, they've kind of been limited to a compound. They need to get their loot fast. I think they've got a decent amount of loot from what I can see. Just a few boosters, they're good to go. But Genzi Boy, right off the bat, yet again taking down Choki Kid. And now Team Secrets, they might just be in a whole world of trouble. They've already lost out on one of those players. And they need to they need to, kind of try to escape the situation because with the way that Team Extreme have been playing, they certainly do not look like they want to stop. But Shinx getting his hands on the players of Fishtail. So one of the players being knocked out. So fights have started left, right, and center. Let's see where does it end.
Exactly. I mean, of course, we all are going to be a lot more curious as the game progresses on and as the zone shrinks down. We are all are going to be like just eager to see when the zone's going to be ending. Of course, we don't want the zone ending onto the houses, because what's going to happen is, yeah, of course, one thing we all know is going to be there's going to be a lot more camping. Yeah, the fights will be happening, but as the zone just keeps on shrinking. But if it's a more open ground and if you just have those ridges for yourself as cover, then yeah, it's going to be much more interesting to see like how these guys are going to be contesting their way, how these guys are going to be using their utilities, and just like strategizing the gameplay overall. But if you guys take a look at over here, Team Wipe seems like they are going to be in a fight soon. FTE Sports are just going to be capitalizing on Wipes' position too, but at the same time seems like Wipes is actually looking in a really good spot, and they're just going to be vibing around in the spots they have. But it doesn't really seem like what FT Lord is doing here. It just seems like he's going to be taking the low ground, and seems like he's just going to be staying safe there, or just making sure no one's pushing from the left side, which is actually a really good thing to see. And this is what I'm talking about. This is what I love Nepal Region for.
Yeah, I mean, now any single moment, Shinx one good grenade, and things might just go down under for the players of Fishtail. Like from the other lines, we can see another fight happening, but we need to focus on
Look
this
at
one.
Ale.
Yeah, look at him. He's just
He's just
slowly.
snaking around.
Yeah, he's just snaking around. He's just trying to push in. But I believe his position might just have been compromised any single moment. Shanks exactly knows what's happening. And he might just lob a grenade or maybe a Molotov just to flush them out. But Fishtail, I gotta say the cojones on these lads. The way they're kind of going in for the push any single moment. Ale just might come up with his Vector and maybe go in for the spray. And the fight has finally erupted with Ale taking quite some damage. He still has his Vector on, switching onwards his M4, taking those shots, and Ale getting that first knock onto with Shinx. Where is the cover fire? Hungry Bog needs to respond in fashion, but it's Zod who comes in for the help for his own team. But now, Hungry Box, he's at a very precarious position. I'm still
Well,
waiting for those grenades.
Yup,
Sort getting
seems like
another
right now
knock.
Vibes is looking absolutely good. They're in a really good spot right now. FTE Sports is not really looking that healthy at this moment, at least because like FTE Sport players are definitely low on HP. They have those two knockdowns already done, and seems like
Whoa,
Lord is going to be eliminated right in midair, and it wasn't really
doesn't
much they
get the
could
tip.
do there.
Yeah, doesn't get the tip at all. But as
Yep,
I somehow felt
fishtail.
that Fishtail kind of like really messed it up over there. There was no really need to go in and push like that onto its that compound. But well, we've got Ninja, who's kind of cooked up a grenade and is trying to back off, but H2O. They're again in a whole world of trouble right now. Two players already knocked down. The remainder two just thrown in, one with the nature. Any single moment, someone is gonna get spotted out, and then things might just fall down one after the other. Mr. Toby still proning though, giving away that essential sound cue to its ninja to act on to its situation. Sikon's in. He's on the right though. Kind of
Hello.
oblivious about the
Yep.
fact. Yeah. So
So I mean, if you take a look at H2O Morty, right? He's all in the open. He doesn't really have that good of a cover for himself, and I feel like 4AMS is actually going to be capitalizing on the situation, and Toby is going to be taken down by Ninja. There beautiful stuff coming in from him, actually spotting him out and getting that beautiful AK spray right onto his dome is going to be absolutely catching him off guard there. Now H2O is in a little bit of trouble. It's a 3-on-4 situation. 4MS has all their teammates up. Now Freak is going to be moving slowly and steadily across as we talking about those temporary cover and utility utilizations coming in. Freak going to be creating a little bit of temporary cover for himself, but he doesn't really realize that 4MS have already disengaged from the fight because they have secured that 1 point for themselves easily. And I feel like it's actually a pretty bold move to do that. And yeah, it's actually a pretty easy way to just like secure that easy one kill for yourself. Easy 1 point. Now H2O is already in a massive trouble because they are one player down. They are a little bit handicapped, but yeah, they can also turn the situation around on them.
they certainly can. And look at Team Hype. They might have spotted a few swimming fishes out there in the water right now, and that's Team Extreme. And they're not just anyone. That's the team that has been absolutely dominating Prototype. The moment the players of Team Extreme, get outside to take some oxygen in, that's the time he shoots. And that's a really good setup because they've already got Stereotype on the other side. I think they've kind of got the players of Team Extreme pinned down, and now they realize the kind of trouble that they are in, and Team Extreme, they are going to have a very painful death.
Exactly. As we talk about having painful death, Hype is also having some painful games recently, but also they might be getting these free points if they do spot the teams rotating inside from the water. But Cag, oh my God, look at Mong GWP's position on TGT here.
Right
He
now.
has that. He has that massive high ground advantage. Look at this. If TGT decides to rotate outside or even like step outside for a second, I feel like Cobra OP, if he decides to like even open the door and just like peek out for a second, Monka might just capitalize on his position. And as we talk about that, yep, the exact same thing's going to be happening. And now he has the exact information where they are. And if we talk about Team Extreme has been eliminated outside the game, Ekta is going to be the one eliminating Team Extreme. What are your thoughts about Team Extreme here?
I mean, Team Extreme, they just kind of swimmed into their own deaths because I really like the strategy coming out from the players of Team Hype, to be honest, because they did set their one player to the other side. One of their players was actually trying to provide cover fire while the other two were swimming along. So they'd give them that enough time and room. But looking at 4MS, with the kind of situation that they were in, of course, losing out on poison, they've managed to recover really well. A lot of the teams are actually, taking the water round, and it gets so risky if you kind of make that late rotation in, because now the players of Team 5 have already got the players of Team Ekta in their radar. The moment they step out of the water, they are dead fishes.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, at the same time, they don't really have any other best rotation choices. At the same time, if Ekta actually does realize where Vibes is situated and their exact position, They might take a little bit of rotation off to other side, but doesn't really seem like Hungry Box is going to be letting that happen because the Ekta is definitely taking a lot more damage inside the water. Like as we see, like 5 chunks of damage is getting deducted all the time, while at the same time, Hungry Box is just dealing a little bit of enough damage. And now if you guys take a look over here, right? Anawachi is just hiding behind the barrel. Oh my god, is Hungry Box going to be spotting him? Yes, he does, and Anawachi is going to be going down. That was a direct kill because he was inside the water, so that's not going to be a knockdown. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know that, but at the same time, but yeah, Vibes right now is absolutely vibing in their situation or in their spot that they are in. All they have to care about is those backstab that I was talking about, and he certainly did started taking those shots from all over the angler. But as we talk about, Hungry Box is going to be going down for Team Vibes. Now they need to make sure that Hungry Box is not going to get completely flushed out. If Hungry Box is going to go down now, Vibes might just crumble apart slowly and steadily because the zone is also moving. Oh my god. S. Malik has to make his run towards his teammate. Just get that res up.
Yeah, I mean, Hungry Box was way too much in the open. And in Sanhok, you can certainly not afford to do that. And he's been punished over there. But I like this camp coming out from the players of Blood Esports. But they also have to make their way inside the circle. They're just waiting to get some kills onto their belt. So Shakes trying to, just close in. He's going to meet Baza any single moment. And, well, Delta M4, of course, taking heavy fire from Baza coming out. Nemo, also on the verge of just kind of getting knocked out. Yes, there you go. He's gonna get wiped out any single moment. But right now, where is Katakuri going to go? He is stuck over there. Baza also needs to make a move of his own. But from behind, we have the players of Team Vibes also pushing on towards him.
Exactly. I mean, if you take a look at B, like a B or Bazal, right? This man has been doing a decent amount of damage all over itself. But as we talk about dealing damage, eliminated H2O Esports. Now, H2O, we haven't really been seeing their name quite a lot in these previous game. I don't really feel like they have done any kind of remarkable moment. And as we talk about that as well, Dream Hackers Esports have also been eliminated.
They certainly have been.
Oh my god, there's so many teams just going down.
I mean, I really thought that the teams would be going for some early rotations, but that was not the case over there. 4MS also, taking the rat out here from the circle, but Team Harame, they're doing a lot of damage out there. Team Delta M4 have been kept at bay. They're not being led to close in. And that knock again follows up by Delta. Beautiful one onto with Katakuri, and Nemo also going down. So Katakuri will get that elimination, but kind of overstepping, creating a lot of noise, as a result of which he's been taken down from the high grounds.
Exactly, as we talk about overstepping and making a lot of sound, Hype is definitely not the team that we want to see we all want to see like not get eliminated. We all love Hype, as we have seen. They are one of the OGs, and all the people do have a little bit of high expectations for this team coming in this tournament. Now Hype over here only has two of their players alive. As one of them is going down, it's all down to Iakas. Now, if Iakas is able to do anything over here, even like get a little bit of more, the support role in, like throw those utilities in, but it doesn't really seem like Iakas is just going to be tanking that zone damage, or at the same time making his way in slowly inside. So as we talked about, Hype only has 2 of their player alive and completely healthy, and Hype seems like they have revived one of their teammates as well. So now that's they're going to be up for 3 people. Now Vibes over here, definitely a lot, like they have crumbled down a lot from what they were playing since the start. Vibes only have 2 players alive, which is going to be Malik and his teammate. Now, yeah, if we like as I was talking about Vibes or Hypes, sorry. So Hype hasn't been really showing up this whole tournament, but I feel like this might just be the game for Hypes here. What do you think?
I think it certainly can, considering the fact that all the teams that could really make in, they're finally there. Now, this might also be a good game for the players of Cinema Art Gaming, because they've got that high ground advantage for them. I just want to see if they've got the circle also backing them up. So TDP, they're losing out on a few of their players. Mandala also being eliminated here at the 7th spot. Now we have the players of Harame and Nuga. He's got to do something. He's going against the players of Team Hype, but it's Cinema Art Gaming that are going to be getting the knock. But Doom is also retaliating in fashion, getting.
Oh my God, no!
Knock. Yeah, I mean, that's going to hurt. But Team Hype, they've been eliminated. That's definitely gonna hurt. Goon, the last solo surviving member, everyone is just falling one after the other, but he still somehow manages to secure enough kills for his team as long as he can. He's got those numbers, of course. 6 kills is a really good number there. Now on the fifth position, he would definitely want to make it to the top three as the circle kind of closes in and nobody is inside the zone.
Harame God absolutely doing wonders with those M466 spray. As we were talking about, it's the most lethal thing when it comes to a map like Sanhok, and especially when you give it to a player like God, it's definitely going to be a God-like sprays coming in. But at the same time, he was also the one who eliminated Team Hype, which a lot of people are going to be disappointed on God9 for sure, but God9 is definitely happy for what he did. Wipe seems like they already have capitalized on God's position, and they already know where he is because he was the one spraying Team Hype down, and I feel like in the process, he also gave his position away, as we talked about that. He just gets instantly shut down.
He certainly does, but there you go, Team Harame getting eliminated, but along with that, TDP, oh my goodness, Gangsta was last surviving member, but look at Cinema Art Gaming, they've got that high ground advantage. The last player, Smolik, he was alive, but not anymore, as the chicken dinner, this time again to with Cinema Art Gaming. I was telling this is gonna happen, just some unknown team is definitely gonna come and take this, because it all came down to the position. Of course, Team Vibe having a good, game in this one did come second, but that's as far as they could go. And those western circles, they're very tricky. You need to be really quick, you need to be agile, you need to get that high ground advantage going in for yourself. And Cinema Art Gaming, of course, respecting the circle, understanding how the game is going to go, everything just came down to it. But I think this is going to be a kind of a low game affair, the low kills game affair, because a lot of teams did get taken down just from the water.
Exactly true. I mean, of course, those rotations were made late, and I feel like that was one of the fact that they had to suffer from such a massive water damage that they had to take. Like they were just sinking around inside a lot, and they were just like -5 damage was getting deducted over and over again. But at the same time, they didn't really have enough choices. If they decide to just peek their heads out of the water for some free air, they were gonna get shot out. They were gonna get shot from the team that was camping outside, and it was
Yeah.
Wipes. So at the same time, yeah, water rotation teams should have rotated out a little bit early, but yeah, of course they got a little bit unfortunate in those rotations, and they got caught off guard.
They did, of course, get caught off guard. But, a lot of teams, a lot of big names did step up this time around. We did see promising performances from TDP. We did get to see those promising performances coming in from Hype. And I really loved how Hype played this one out. But it's Malik who's, of course, going to be the MVP. Is he got that 5 kills? Of course, not, getting the chicken. But that 5 kill is enough. And like I said, it's going to be a low kill affair because all these teams, so many people were having trouble. Now, this is where the fact about all these teams kind of doing a late rotation kind of goes against them, because had they rotated it quite early, had they kind of taken the control over the bridge like Blood Esports did, they could have done way better. Now, let's take a look at the top players, of course. And, Ekta Esports, one of those teams that we had really high hope from, because how they played in the first game, they could not really shine. Even Team Extreme, one of the other teams, we did also feel that they could do, preferably well. They also fell down, and everyone was just caught here in the water. But there you go, Too High GGWP, he's played really well. Delta going off strong. Even the same goes for IR too.
Exactly. I mean, I just feel like they are just getting a lot more competition today. So you were talking about Team Extreme not just popping off a lot, but I feel like this time we are definitely seeing a lot more like high strategy gameplay. And yeah, of course, there are some like ways. Of course, you could have like better capitalized on the situations. But at the same time, yeah, we do have a lot more information on all those things. We are able to see like everyone's position. That's why we are able to get those strategies, and we're not in the mindset of those players. So I mean, they're also having their sweat on the palms. Like they are getting the situation. They are seeing that prize pool. They are seeing that chicken dinner in the front of them, and all they could do is just like think about those things. And at the same time, when it's like in the closed zones, your adrenaline's just absolutely pumping on those last seconds, and there's not really much you could do. Your brain doesn't really want to function properly. It's like whatever you do sometimes does happen randomly.
Yeah, of course. Now let's take a look at the match summary. And There you go. I mean, 243 meters being the highest, longest distance kill. In fact, I like it. Highest damage going towards Malik. He was there, right? He was there. He made that quick rotation in, and that's where Hungry Box, the experience, really comes in. And the longest distance travel, if you take, is not too much, and we can't really blame them. Look at Ekta. You know, they've been swimming all the while, and assists also not being that huge this time around. So it was kind of a low kill game, but still a very technical one. And if you did have your position in Sanhok, if you do have your good cover, then you ought to win, and that's what Cinemat Gaming did. And they did not really go right all, firing on all cylinders. Did not go all berserk, but they were smart. And from what we have seen today, those two teams, you know, if you talk about Socrates, if you talk about Cinema Art Gaming, all these chicken dinners were just based on the fact that they respected the circle, they got us good position in, and well, there you go.
Exactly. Of course, the positioning definitely mattering a lot. You get those high 15 points if you're going to be getting the chicken dinner, but at the same time, if you get the second spot, you're going to be securing 12 points for your team. Well, when you're going to be going for the second and third spot, if you're going to be aiming for those, of course, you want a lot more kill points. You need to pop off in those kill points as well, especially when we saw how Killer played yesterday for Cops. That got them on top of the leaderboard. Someone has to play just like him to actually get those, get his team and carry them up to the leaderboards. But right now, if you take a look at match ranking, yeah, Cinema Art Gaming was the one who took the victory, and with the placement points of 15, of course, they were on the top with the chicken dinner. Those are definitely a decent amount of match ranking points, but it's definitely not going to be enough to get climb those overall leaderboards. They might be the top 10, yeah, for sure, but yeah, they need to, of course, do better and perform better and get those kill points a lot more.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Cinema Art Gaming, courtesy to that high ground that they were holding, and that position, they did rack up a lot of kills, because it's so difficult to comprehend what happens in those final few circles, because fights are going absolutely everywhere. So it's difficult even for the observers to catch every single thing. But, you know, Cinema Art Gaming, they've been playing so well, they've been doing so good. And right now, let's head into the Oppo moments where we see those beautiful highlights. I mean, Fishtail, what were they even thinking, you know, pushing on towards Vibes like that? And Vibes were really smart, you know. They took the fight at the same time, also reviving their teammate. And well, Fishtail, they did put up a fight, but that certainly was not enough.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, what I was exactly saying was, you were talking about Fishtail, right? And I don't really feel like Fishtail was doing much when it comes there. Yeah, they did try their best at the same time, but I feel like this was just one of the games where they got like quite unlucky. I wouldn't say they were performing bad. Yeah, everybody has those bad games and those unlucky games. So yeah, like judging Fishtail off of that is not going to be the best thing we can do.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they did, you know, try. That's the only props that we can give them over here. But, you know, even can't blame Malik over there. He just had that low ground, 3 players against him, but not too much. But, you know, KWIN Esports, you know, despite the fact that they were caught right open with the pants down, just swimming inside the water, they still somehow managed, you know, kind of survive. So that's a really good thing that we've kind of taken from KWIN. And I believe once the overall ranking comes up, KWIN might find themselves in a good spot. And there you go. It comes up, and well, have they made it into the top 8? Yes, they have.
Yep, I told you.
On the 18th, sitting on the 8th position over here.
I told you they are definitely going to be moving up to those top 10 spots, but not well enough to get those top 5 positioning as well. So, I mean, what I'm saying is like KWIN Esports, yeah, how they perform was definitely well, but I feel like they definitely fall less on those kill points there. If they would have popped off more, yeah, they would have definitely gotten the more kill points. But yeah, we cannot judge off just off of 2 games. They still have a lot more games to go on, which are going to be 2 more games, which is going to be Miramar and Erangel again. So Miramar is definitely going to be the one map where we are going to be expecting a lot more teams to like frag out, where they need to actually get their kill points up to at least climb up on top 15 on those leaderboards.
Yeah, certainly. And as we move along forward, you know, Harame, they've been consistent as well. It clearly shows 15 points out from 2 games, not too shabby. But now that we're done with our 2 games, we have 2 more remaining. So, hi. Well, this is a team that we're going to talk about. Well, 2 matches, 3 kills, 8 points. So, getting those position points, not enough. They're getting those kills, no. So, they come with a lot of hype behind them. They are the old guards. They've got the players, but somehow they're not kind of kind of delivering, right? So that's been a problem for this particular team. And the same was the case with Too Much Hype, but somehow down the line they kind of made that balance, and you can see on the overall leaderboard they're still in the top 8. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be pushing for a short little break because coming up is Miramar. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching day number 2 of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021. And well, in Sanhok, everything just went mental. And of course, Cinema Art Gaming having that beautiful position up top. They managed to get that chicken. And so great. They did get that first chicken, of course, in the first game. But afterwards, it all went falling down. An early elimination from their side. But heading on towards Miramar, which heavily relies on those tactical gameplay, on those mechanical plays. We got to see how these teams are going to perform. So, from what you've seen so far, what do you think? Which team is going to come out on top in this one?
Well, I mean, yeah, we do have some high hopes for Ekta. And
Yeah.
at the same time, there are some more teams I definitely want to see hype get up there because I have heard a lot of name of this team, and we all definitely have a lot more expectations for this team in upcoming. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of teams here that we have like a lot of hopes for.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think I would be wanting Team Hype to get this one home because this is one of the teams that has been there right from the start and they've not been able to kick off. I thought maybe in Erangel that was a fluke. They did not really have a good time. Maybe in Sanhok they could make a comeback. And their rotations were really, really good. I mean, the way they kind of pincered down the players of Team Extreme, that was brilliant. But at the same time, their own rotation sort of got delayed, which kind of eventually led on to their demise. But moving on forward, the match is about to get live any single moment. I really want to see where the circle goes this time around. I would like to see some extreme circles because from all the Miramars that we've casted, it's kind of been in the center.
Exactly. As always, we're talking about Los Leones is definitely going to be a lot of teams are going to be heading for Los Leones. Like since looking at the plane flight path, yeah, a lot of teams are going to be heading for those long range compounds. But at the same time, yeah, Los Leones is the place where you do see a lot of houses and a lot of juicy loot. So yeah, I mean, there are going to be a lot of teams aiming for Los Leones.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of clout around the Los Leones area. So many teams, in contention of that, and it's a huge area. I mean, I think it's good for two teams, but if you have more, then it kind of gets tricky. But now Los Leones is going to be very, very far fetched for all these teams now. And San Martin, of course, one of those areas, the hot areas, and we of course cannot rule out Hacienda del Patron. So a few squads definitely might just land over there since these teams are going against each other for the first time in the PMCO. So they're kind of in the dark about what the other team is going to put on the table. So by the looks of it, we're going to see those certain sites a bit vacant. If the teams kind of get those vehicles, they can definitely go for it. But finally, we're going to see some teams dropping off at El Pozo, which is also a good thing.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, of course, as you were talking about El Pozo, yeah, there's one team going to La Cobria. We don't really see a lot of teams going at that position because I feel like, yeah, it does have a decent amount of loot, but at the same time, doesn't isn't really like the best. But the circle shift is definitely going to be an interesting part to see. And as I was talking about, we might be seeing a lot more teams going for Los Leones, and my guess was absolute wrong. And there are two teams who are heading down all the way downstairs. Seems like their main focus here is going to be the Chumacera compound. Now, if you guys take a look at Hype Esports, yeah, they need to absolutely focus on those meds and get themselves some decent loot to set themselves up in the late game. But yeah, we all can trust them this time at least that maybe they would put on a show for us and get a lot of frags out of this game and or at least place themselves in a better situation or in a better standpoint.
Yeah, of course. Now, Team Hype, they've got that experience backing them up. They're now at Junkyard. They've spotted Mugen out there. Well, stepping down with his Mini 14. Few shots, not really connecting though. But that's enough. That's enough to fend off the attack. That's kind of coming. That was actually coming onto its them. But now Haramin, they will find themselves in some safe spot, and they need to get on with the loot. But I really want to take a look at where the circle is, of course, heading out to. But Hype, well, they've got that compounds. They need a vehicle for sure. They're kind of far off from the zone. So let's see how they proceed in this game.
Exactly. I mean, yep. I mean, there's like nothing really much happening, as we all know. Miramar is a massive map, so we will have to wait for all the actions happening in game. But as we are talking about fixes, what do you think? Which player might pop off this game? Like, cause like the way we saw how how these people are strategizing in the Erangel and Sanhok map. So Miramar is definitely definitely a map where you get a lot more space, a lot more free air to breathe, and a lot more cover to work around.
I mean, had it been a map like Vikendi, I would have really rooted for a Hungry Box because that guy is a monster in that map. But when it comes down to Miramar, I think someone like Shagar might do it, maybe someone from Ekta. And we've been taking a look at this lad Paragon. Yesterday, we did see Killer Whitey kicking it off really, really big. But today, we've seen a lot of different players really step up and a lot of new names coming up. So I'm kind of keeping myself in a position where I want to let the game speak for itself. By the end of the game, we will have a slight idea as to which player is going to play what in what fashion. So what we would definitely expect from these teams is those beautiful rotation that you just rightfully put. That tactical, the mechanical, the macro rotations rather. My apologies there. Those macro rotations will decide the fate as to who's gonna pop off.
Exactly. Now, I mean, yeah, as we were talking about, yeah, vehicle contestation hasn't really seen that early of a game here, but seems like a lot of teams are just chilling around. Like they are not, like we haven't really seen like fixes that we were talking about when we expect like a Miramar as a map. A lot of teams are actually going for those vehicles in early games, but this time we haven't really been seeing that much. Like as we saw on the map, we haven't really seen like that many vehicles showing up.
Yeah, I mean, in Miramar, you don't have a lot of trouble finding those vehicles. At some point or the other, you definitely will. But again comes down to what are you choosing for yourself. We've seen a lot of teams, going in for those bikes. We've seen a lot of buggies being picked up, and I don't mind that. Four buggy strat is pretty good considering how the terrain goes on. So now we can have our eyes onto with this player, Paragon. He's been an absolute monster. Could not really prove his mettle in the second game as he was just taken down inside the water. So that did not really go in his favor. But here you have Team Vibe. They've got a whole compound for themselves. They've got a vast loot coming in, so they're looking strong. All they need is to find a vehicle. They're inside the zone. They need to find a center spot. They need to find that high ground. So we'll have to see how they rotate around. Is it going to be late this time, or is it going to be quick?
Exactly. Of course. I mean, quick rotations might be a little risky, but at the same time, they might secure you that crucial spot inside the zone. And as we talk about getting those crucial spot, yeah, getting those crucial spot might secure you that late game positioning as well. But at the same time, if you do take those crucial spots, and if you have a compound which is in the middle of the zone, you might be focused by a lot of teams, as we saw in the previous game, which happened in the Erangel. Yeah, you might get flushed out by a lot of nades. All the teams might be throwing nades on you. There might be a gun pointed at you from all over the sides on all the windows. So wherever you peek out, you might just get shot. But at the same time, yeah, if you decide to figure out and play around it, yeah, there might just be a chance where you can just get away with it.
I mean, let's talk about this team, that we have over here. Dream Hackers. They've got C1 Crazy, who's been carrying a lot of experience along with him. And they've been kind of in the middle of things. They've not really been popping hard, or they've not been getting eliminated really early. So I think I would love to see them picking up the pace over here. But right now, what we have in front of our screens are Team Extreme. The players did have a very, very rough time in Sanhok, not really being able to get out of the water. So this time around, with less water areas, of course, in Sanhok, in Miramar, they are gonna pop off big. So that's our expectation, and I really like how they position themselves. Staying on top of San Martin, they've got that high ground advantage. They've got those vehicles secured all the way from Hacienda del Patron. This is good.
I mean, I personally have played on this position before in the past, but the main problem for this position is that you can get flanked a lot from the back too, because there is just so much cover when you just want to get up there. Let's talk about ridges. Let's talk about those trees that are one of the most crucial covers that you can get, and then let's talk about the stones that are covering you from the sides. So if you actually want to flank that place that there is, yeah, of course, as long as the enemy team is not aware of that, you're going to be pushing, then yeah, it's going to be an easy flank for you to just punish them for that high ground advantage early on.
Yeah, I mean, let's take a look at the players of Fishtail, who've been having a rather rough time, trying to traverse around the, map. Now, you did see that minibus being kind of tilted, somehow managed to get it back on, and now maybe they'll be moving along. But look at Mystic Easing. So he's got that AK for himself. He's got that helmet. He's doing good. But now I think these rotations, we've been talking about a lot. They need to go in really fast. Now, the only problem with a minibus, it is too slow. Now, if someone spots you out there and you're in the open, you're basically as good as dead.
Of course, I mean, yep. I mean, yeah, you definitely do not want to be in the open ground. Of course, like that's just one of the common sense that you get as by playing you're in the BR. At the same time, finding that cover in, especially in a tournament like this, is going to be definitely harder if you're going to be rotating in late, just like DH is right now. But Yeah, I mean, sometimes late rotations might go in your favor, sometimes they can't, but it really depends on how your team is going to be capitalizing on the enemy positions and then going to be strategizing the calls out. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how DH is going to be playing out for the late zone rotations.
Yeah, of course. There you go. The first airdrop coming in around Montenegro. You've got that AUG. So, like you mentioned yesterday, even I completely agree with the fact that the Nepali teams are actually going in for the drops. But today has been a rather silent affair. Not a lot of, bolt action, not a lot of AWM, not a lot of Mark 14, not a lot of Groza. Nothing is being picked up. And they know what's on the stakes. They know what's on the line. And they really do not want to risk it because the moment they go out for a drop and if someone is actually prying on it, um, they are going to have a lot of trouble kind of trying to escape out from that situation.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like choosing the odds of the best weapon, right? Yeah, you might get that one shot knockdown with those bolt action snipers, but if you just get those GMR or even M16 as an AR, there is a lot higher chance that you're going to be doing a little bit of damage all the time. But yeah, you are going to be hitting your shots at the same time. That is going to be suppressing the enemy down. So yeah, choosing the DMRs and stuff is definitely way much more higher priority. And as we're talking about, like not a lot of people are actually going for those drops, which is yeah, as you said, yeah, they did capitalize, like realize that the situation is really intense, and yeah, you should not be really that as much as aggressive as you are, and they're just like trying to calm down and just trying to play a little bit more passive this time. But as we talk about that, BO Hockey is definitely not in a really great spot. They're using the smoke for his temporary cover. His teammates are trying to assist him as much as they can, but doesn't seem like they're going to be quite successful in doing that.
Yeah, I mean, now we'll have to see. Blood Esports, they've kind of been the team that has been kind of getting involved in a lot of third parties. But when it comes down to having head-on collisions, they've been kind of seeming off. But what I really like from Fishtail is that they're trying, they're trying to go in with those frags. They're trying to, get something out. They're trying to apply that extra bit of a pressure. So they're trying to kind of defy the meta in the Nepal region because usually teams tend to kind of hold themselves back when it comes to taking early game fights. But them trying to go for it, of course they have kind of failed on a few multiple occasions. But if you keep on trying to do this, at one point you will succeed and then you're gonna start doing better. But look at Paza, he's been spotted down, that flank completely being foiled by the players of Fishtail.
Exactly. I mean, oh my god, look at this nade. That was so close.
Yeah, that certainly was. But Baza, he now needs to get, now needs to escape from the situation because he definitely is in the wrong territory.
Oh my god, there comes the first blood of the tournament. Is this for real? A lot of players are actually surviving for a long time. As we talk about that, BD Plaza is going to be getting the knockdown onto Fishtail there. Fishtail is not looking great over here. Their positioning is definitely bad. As we talk about, Baza definitely has that high ground on them, and he's just completely pressurizing on them with those utilities and at the same time with those gunshots. But the high ground is definitely going to get punished by the Enforcer. Beautiful M4 spray coming in from Enforcer. There are AK spray as well. We talk about Enforcer has been capitalizing on his situation and is going to get third party. Baza is not really going to be happy about that third party.
Certainly is not going to be happy as Hockey. He's just going in with the push, and Fishtail find themselves again in a whole world of trouble. Their players just falling down one after the other. And Ale, we can see he's running for his life. He's abandoned his teammates, and Blood Esports somehow they've managed to keep themselves alive. But I believe Ale, as you can see from the backlines, he might be trying to dish out some damage as Enforcer gets his kill confirmed. But Hockey, he's going in for the revive. And look at Enforcer getting those green kills. And DM4, they're on the rotation of their own. So a lot of different fights going on. I really like how these early skirmishes are happening. And, once the map feed comes out, once we get a slight idea as to what these teams are up to, we can really predict where the circle is going on, who's got better position. So a lot of things that I'm personally in the dark about. I really want the game, to just reveal itself. What is it holding? Because all these players, they're just making their move, and that's a good thing.
Of course, as we talk about he getting the moves, yeah, WAN is definitely one of the really important means of transport or a vehicle that can help you in moving a lot. But at the same time, yeah, there is a movement penalty on it. It is way slower than it is, but also it's a absolute tank and a beast that is going to be protecting you from a lot of shots that have been taken. But if we take a look at SES, right, Mr. Unit is trying to just scout out the compound, just trying to spot out anyone in the area. But at the same time, it seems like SES is just not scared of them. They are going to be just charging in through the compound.
Yeah, they certainly are. Now, Clown, he's been playing really well. This is one of the teams that we really need to watch out for. As Ektas, Paragon, he's got that nade going in, but he's got his teammate knocked out. Now, going against a team like Socrate that did have the chicken dinner in the first game, they've got their morals really boosted, but they are in a big, kind of a pickle right now because they're going against another team who has been explosive. So as the rotations are gonna come in, we'll have a better idea. But right now, Cinema Art Gaming, they're
Oh my
completely going after
god.
Mandala with those barrage of grenades coming from up top. Jordan, he has already been knocked out. Now Fragdie needs to get the hell out of there or he is dead meat.
Exactly, as you talk about barrage of nades, beautiful precision coming in with those grenades. They're also the Molotovs. I'm seeing a lot more usage of the Molotovs happening. As we talk about, another knockdown goes with the Molotov. SCS is absolutely just dominating Ekta there. Ekta is in a really bad condition right now. Also, at the same time, yeah, SCS has one teammate knocked. It was just going to be Zoro OP, but yeah, it's going to be an easy revive for them without any problem. Well, as you guys can see, Paragon is also knocked out behind the wall, but doesn't really seem like Ekta wants to risk the revive, but still they are going to be taking the revive, taking those chances, taking those odds, because once they get Paragon up, they might have a better chance of winning the situation.
They certainly might have a better chance. But right now, well, Ekta, they're taking their own sweet time as we get back to Cinema Art Gaming. They are already kind of sitting on 4 kills, but now in this particular fight, they have already lost two of the players being knocked out. One of them getting the res back on, and this is against a team called Cream Hackers Esports, of course, the team of Z1 Crazy. How are they going to fight this one out? How are they going to retaliate back? They need to form different angles. They of course have a 2-2 split, but it's all going to come down to too high. That molly going in, that's going to give away a lot of information. And Dream Hackers, they kind of tended to go on the back foot at C1 Crazy is trying to give a lot of pressure over there. Monk, of course, losing out on his HP, and Sus getting those Gwen kills again. And now Cinema Gaming are in a whole world of trouble. How are they going to get out of this situation?
Exactly, it's going to be a lot more tough because it's just two on three situation. Yeah. So now we already see them actually getting just aggressive right in their face. So at the same time, too high. It's definitely going to be way much more harder for him to contest and just hold that ground. And yeah, exactly. Sandy Sir is going to be eliminating him out of the game.
He certainly will. And Cinema Art Gaming, what is happening? A team getting the chicken dinner and then just coming out, getting eliminated at a very early position. But right now, what we have in front of our screens is Delta M4 trying to charge in the compounds. And we'll have to see how this fight really comes out, because H2O, they've been having a whole world of trouble today. Every single game, they've been kind of messing it up. Now, Katakuri, he needs to charge in. He needs to get those knocks. He did have that opening. He did have that window of opportunity, but could not really capitalize. But wait a second. What am I witnessing? Team Extreme already eliminated.
What just happened here? Taking a lot of damage when he tried to actually reposition himself, but H2O Summer has been down. Like H2O has been suffering a lot since that fight that they decided to take there. But yeah, at the same time, they did come out on top. Oh my god, as you were talking about the bolt action sniper rifles, here comes Mr. Toby with his Car 98.
Yeah, he certainly does. And now let's take a look. H2O, they've somehow managed to keep their teammates alive, but he's taking damage from elsewhere, and that's Team Ekta, chiming in, coming and joining the fight. Now, Toby will, of course, patch himself up with that medkit, but their woes are still not yet done, because we do have the players of Delta M4 kind of roaming, hovering around them. Any single moment, any opportunity that they will get to take down the players of H2O, they definitely will. But somehow Freak, the lads have managed to get 2 kills, but is that going to be enough?
Of course. I mean, it's definitely not going to be way enough. I mean, like nothing is enough to be honest in this world. But yeah, if you were talking about that situation, I personally feel like maybe it's going to be enough at the same time. Maybe it's not going to be enough. You know, it's just like a maybe situation for me. But if we take a look at Team Ekta, right, they are looking absolutely healthy. They have all four of their players alive, and as we have seen how Paragon plays in those late situations, I feel like it's going to be really like all the teams have to watch out from Paragon because that man has been proven us absolutely wrong, and he's just absolutely popping off for Team Ekta. I feel like he has been the star player since the game one. Like in Erangel, we saw how he was playing. He just got like 4 knockdowns back to back. As we are talking about, seems like yeah, there's just a lot of fights happening all across the place and a lot of body going down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you see that circle kind of taking that curveball towards the northeastern side. So many teams already clustered up over there as team vibes. They are actually making that push. And how is Socrates? They're going to survive this or not? Because Choki, kid, he is at a different spot. He will, of course, get to, fire that cover fire that is much needed. But, with team vibes, pushing in like that, Chetri is already dead. There's no chance on earth that he's gonna live. But team vibes, they will have to get inside the circle. They need to contest for that. They're somewhat playing around the edges, but the next zone is definitely gonna determine how these teams are gonna perform. But as you take a look at the map feed, for MS, this time having the better side of the circle, being in the center, being at the epicenter. So, well, we can expect some bigger things from them, and they do have that potential.
Of course, they do have that potential. I mean, a lot of like all the teams, as we were talking about, yeah, all the teams have potential. That's why they have gotten here. Fixes. But at the same time, if we talk about teams having potential, H2O is in a really bad spot at the moment. Summer's gone down. Freak is really on less HP. Mr. Troby and Aplex trying to assist them, but at the same time, in those situation, Aplex seems like he's gonna be going down. Now, Mr. Toby is trying his best to get his teammates up, but at the same time, it's gonna be a really hard choice for him to do, or really hard thing for him to do, because he just has those temporary smoke grenades as the cover.
Yeah, that he does. And Team Harame, they're kind of alive for quite some time over there. But Choki Kid getting that beautiful knock onto the players of Team Ekta. So a lot of fights are gonna erupt in any single moment. As the fifth circle has started closing in with 13 teams still alive. I mean, this is what we are expecting to see from the Nepali teams. They're gonna take those fights very late into the game. But how much utilities do you have to play around with? Because once it's going towards the compounds, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need those nades. You're gonna need those flashes. You're gonna need those smokes. Try and flush out your enemy. And Harame's goon has taken a dig at Shubin. Will of course get that knock, but Stereotype, he has to go get in the revive. And Hype, they were in some trouble, but Kurka will definitely be back on pretty soon.
Exactly. We haven't really been given hype much spotlight this game. Props to them. They have been staying alive since a really long time and actually are doing a great job in surviving. But Gurkha wasn't really in the healthiest situation. But right now he has healed himself up. But here comes a Molotov just to make things even worse and just do a little bit more damage and just to solidify their position inside the tank, so Poison can get enough time to rotate outside and just reposition himself, which is a really good play coming in from Poison there. But at the same time, if you take a look at Poison's teammate, which is going to be 4MS, Mr. Spy. Yeah, he is trying to contest their position from all across the place. And yeah, is certainly has managed to do so. Has managed to get one knockdown from Hype. So Hype is in a really bad situation. I feel like the rest of the Hype teammates should be there for them and should be assisting for them. What do you think, so?
I think this is going to be a really good game for Team 4MS. But now, the players of Team Hype. I mean, look at Akash. I mean, he's in a whole world of trouble right now as the players of H2O are charging in. Now, Gurkha pushes it with Stereotype in tandem. Is he going to get the knockdown? But no, that grenade coming out from Mr. Toby. One of the players, Stereotype, is down. And Hype, within just my blink of an eye, they are eliminated. They're gone. They're done. And with just 2 kills, can't believe it.
Hype is actually making a lot of mistakes in the process of assisting their teammates. Well, I understand, yeah, you do have a lot of pressure, but when you're that OG of a team, people do expect a lot more better performance from them. As I'm talking about Fixes, I'm pretty sure you have to agree with me on the thing that I'm saying, that Hype is a OG team, right?
Right.
Yeah, and people are expecting a lot more like better showcase of skill when it comes to like teams like from teams like Hype. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot more high expectations, but as we talk about 4MS, it's gonna be taking down Mr. Toby a lot, like a important man taken down.
Yeah, of course. But now what for MS have is a chance to get the chicken dinner finally for themselves as they're going ham after the players of H2O. And I believe, it's just the last player surviving. No, that's Freak along with his teammates. That's Aplex. So how are they going to perform this one out? We got to see that. But for MS, Ninja does the, kind of lob that grenade in. And by the looks of it, TDP, another big team, taking a very early exit. Courtesy to that massive, massive nade coming
Oh
in
my
from
god!
Delta.
Look at that nade! Did you just look at the way he
Yeah,
threw the nade?
the whole squad done.
Oh my god! Trusty process has been eliminated, but at the same time, I was talking at the nade that was thrown at Applex's. So the nade that was thrown at Applex's was thrown from really small gaps from those windows that traveled all the way from those windows from outside inside the house to outside the house behind the wall on Applex's. That's how the nade went on him. That was an absolute precise nade, like utility usage right there coming in from 4MS, and yeah, they are like really doing a fantastic job on just solidifying a lot of teams and just flushing other teammates out from their positions using their utility. So what I'm exactly trying to say here is that their utility uses have been really precise and on point.
Yeah, they have been really precise. I gotta agree with that because with so much fights going on now, take look at the circle, the kind of a shift that it has taken, and for MS again getting themselves in a very good position. But Aplex is somehow still surviving. But look at Dream Hackers. So C1 Crazy, another lonesome survivor there. But Freak, I believe he's kind of smelled him out. Any single moment, I think we can see a fight erupting between these two players.
Exactly. I'm just loving, and I'm like, the one thing I'm noticing here is like I'm just loving how 4MS is actually positioning themselves. Like the way they're communicating. Yeah. At the same time, yeah, there is one or two teammates going down in the process of rotations, which is a completely understandable fixes. Like because when you're trying to take the rotations in late games such like these, yeah, like getting those rotations in is of course going to be hard. But as we take about Aplexes, going to be taking a lot of damage with that grenade. Uh, I don't think so. Like Aplexes should have taken that damage, but unfortunately, what?
Why? Why would you have to
Gets
take your
knocked down
own
by his
teammate
own
down?
teammate's nade.
Aye, that's gonna hurt him. But see what
That is
crazy.
so unfortunate.
Imagine that smirk on his face when he did see that knock.
Oh my god! Like I feel like at this point, like luck is literally just favoring him. Well, as we also talk about that, that's just a little bit of miscommunication coming in from those team players to each others. Well, for MS, Mr. Spy is already really close to an enemy compound, and there is an enemy right in front of him. And I'm pretty sure he does capitalize on the enemy situation because he is going to be certainly hearing his footsteps just going through. Now, Mr. Spy is going to be healing the zone out, while at the same time also taking a lot of zone damage in the process, and not going to be able to quite heal
Ouch.
the zone. He's going to get out damaged.
Yeah, he certainly is going to get out damaged as we just have four teams remaining, seven players. And C1 Crazy, he's gone for that heal battle. But look at Malik. He is still there for his team. I think he's the last survivor as Shinx gets that knock. And it all comes down to Malik. And there you go. C1 Crazy also dying down. And with that, we just have our last three teams. And well, Malik, he has to pull off something really crazy out here as he goes after Delta, almost barely trying to knock him down. And there you go, the teammates, the numbers really coming into play over here. And now Harame, they find themselves on the brink of getting that chicken dinner. They've already started to celebrate though.
Oh my god, what is this confidence? I just love this confidence. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, as we talking about, yeah, Harame was just showing a lot more precise gunplay, and at the same time a lot more precise, just like sprays overall.
Yeah, of course. I mean, Team Harame. I really thought this game was there for the players of MS, but today's event has been completely unexpected. Considering the position that the teams have, that you need, that you root your money at, but that's not happening. The way the circles have been shifting, teams are having a lot of trouble doing that. But Team Vibes, again, huge props to them. They've been consistent, back to back 2 second positions is of course going to solidify their spot on towards the top 10 if not top 5. So
Exactly.
yeah, with still one more game remaining, that's going to be in Erangel. I really want to see who comes out on top, and I must say it's going to be a new winner. But so far we've casted so many games in the PMCO right now. We've not yet seen that double chicken that we've been looking out for.
Exactly. I mean, one thing I would really like to point out about for MS was, yeah, they were in a really solid position. You have to agree with me on that in the late zone. But somehow they just got caught off guard while they were rotating outside, which is going to be quite unfortunate for 4MS. But I still feel like they could have played it out in a different situations or in a different play style or a different play. They could have just implemented a lot more new ways to do that. But at the same
Wow.
time, if you guys take a look at MVP here, it's going to be from Harame. It's going to be Delta with 9 kills and 1167 damage with survival time of 26 minutes 19 seconds, assists 4, and a lot of healing done actually.
Yeah, of course. I mean, 9 kills, that's ludicrous. That's big. And he's been getting that under the radar. We've not been seeing Harame a lot. Now, if you talk about team like Harame, there was a moment they were just playing it smart. And they were kind of respecting the circle, which was a very good thing. And, I would really love to take a look at the top players that are in here. So I really want to see who are the other players. And Malik, he's been there for his team. If you talk about Team Vibe, a name that comes up to your head, that's going to be Hungry Fox, that's going to be Chart. But this time, it's Malik who is, taking the charge of getting those kills, keeping his team at bay, in contention rather for the top spot.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, in the end circle, yeah, he was the only one alive for Team Wipes there. But at the same time, I feel like he could have taken 1 kill from Team Harame, but unfortunately he just missed that spray onto him. Maybe just got unlucky spray or something like that. But yeah, he did
Yep.
miss a lot of bullets on one of the members of Team Harame.
Yeah, of course. And finally, there you go. Team Harame, of course, coming out on top. And I've seen this team in the past. They were a kind of team that was kind of, in the bottom echelon. Now they have, worked a lot. They've grinded very, very hard. And this chicken dinner is very well earned. Now, taking a look at the match summary and seeing how those number games goes, because it was a kind of a, tricky Miramar. Because usually we get to see those open end zones, but this time around we had a lot of compounds to be played with, and stereotype, of course, having the longest distance kill, and we've already seen that start coming out from Delta with those 9 kills. So that's something good, and he's got the highest damage in the lobby. He's just everywhere. 9 kills, 4 assists. That's beautiful. And the longest distance travel, of course, Team Hype. They take that long route, but again, being so unlucky.
Exactly. I mean, we are seeing a lot more hype over there in the overall things, but yeah, hype hasn't been really showing up the hype so recently, and you all like a lot of the fans are going to be more disappointed in Team Hype as the game processes on. But there is still one more match remaining, and there is still one more chance left for Team Hype. They can definitely prove themselves, and yeah. Let's keep Team Hype aside for a second and let's take a look at the match ranking. So over here, H2O Esports was definitely the second one. We saw there was one solo player staying alive for them, and he actually did do a pretty great job in solidifying those 12 points for his team.
Had he not just taken down his teammate, I believe they could have at least put up a fight against Team Harame in the final circle. No, it's 2v4 is always better than a 1v4 situation, and I believe the players must be furious. But like you mentioned already, that was not intended. That grenade was gone crazy. And huge props to Dream Hackers as well. Trying to survive for so long. And Vibes, of course, being the consistent team over here. But Team Extreme taking that early exit, that is definitely going to hurt them. One game they come out really big, but in the second and third, they kind of mess it up. And we're still in pursuit for that one consistent team, just like Team 5. But right now, what we are going to do is head into the Oppo moments where we get to see those beautiful, beautiful display of gunpowder and tactical rotations.
Yep, exactly. I mean, like we are taking a look at these Oppo moments, and yeah, of course, this is one of the most remarkable moments here. The nades, as you were talking about, was just like barraging through. Like it was just raining nades all over the place. I feel like they literally used all of their utilities in just that one fight.
Yeah, of course. And, I did try to put up a fight, but, they were also taken down. And for MS, I mean, decent performance. That's what we can say. But Malik, I thought for a moment that he's gonna get that one knock, but
Yep.
the numbers really coming in there so much for him to handle, and he almost did get it, but then the other teammates just came in. So this is gonna make a huge change in the overall rankings, of course. And once it comes up, we'll have a slight idea as to how the teams are positioned after 3 games that they've already played. So, Nepali Crew, of course, one of those teams that did miss out on a game yesterday. So that's the reason why they've just got 3 matches played. But Harame now taking the top spot. So we were searching for consistency, and here it is.
Exactly. Harame has definitely been doing a really massive part when it comes to like just securing and solidifying those top chart spots there. But at the same time, if we take a look at KWIN Esports, they're not that far away. They're only on the 9th position, and we still have one more game to go. If KWIN decides to pop off, and we certainly have players like Paragons and stuff, and KWIN does have a really massive lineup going up in the future. So yeah, there is a massive chance for KWIN too. But Hype also, if we're talking about, they haven't been really showing up really that strong in these previous games. But yeah, we are not going to be giving up on Hype. There is still a lot more fan base going up ahead over here for Hype.
Yeah, of course, Hype will still someday definitely come back, and maybe the last game might just be theirs. But I really like how Delta M4 is playing. They're really going aggressive, right? They're getting those kills, if not the position points. So today, their lesson is definitely going to just go back to the drawing board and learn how to survive. Try to play it a bit safe. And the same advice would, of course, go to the players of Fishtail. So Fishtail has been a very aggressive team, but at the same time, that kind of a raw aggression, they need to tone it down a bit. They need to show that kind of aggression when it matters a lot. Try not to take those unwanted fight. Just go for it when it's absolutely necessary. Just go for it when you're confident that you will pull this one up.
Exactly. Of course, it's all about the confidence in the end and getting those. Also, all about the confidence. Like when you are confident enough, you are, of course, going to be winning a lot more fights. And at the same time, yeah, if you are confident, of course, your team will feel a little bit confident too, because they're like, oh, my team is actually so confident going in this game. Maybe there is something going on in his mind. So we have to be confident as well. And that just boosts the team spirit overall. And that just shows a better performance overall in game.
Yeah, it completely did show. But right now, with the way things are going, right? With the way things are going, I'm really getting stoked up. I am waiting eagerly for the final game of tonight's evening, because in that game of Erangel, anything can possibly happen. As ladies and gentlemen, we are going to go for a short little break, because coming up next is the final map of Erangel. समझ रहे हैं ऐसे अगर like keep those flows like this
भाई नहीं प्रॉब्लम क्या है ब्रो मैं भाई जब से यहाँ पर आया हूँ ना 3 दिन से भाई मेरी नींद ही नहीं हो रही तू इसको पूछ ले मेरे बेड पर रहता है मैं
समझ भाई देख मैं समझ सकता हूँ तेरी बात बट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अभी नया आया है तो लोग देखेंगे ना दे विल लुक एट यू कि क्या कर रहा है
नहीं मेरी आई साइड भी थोड़ी वीक ही है लाइक मैं ले रहा हूँ एक नए ग्लासेस ले रहा हूँ मैं मेरी बात चली गई है
हाँ बट यू नो व्हेन यू गेटिंग द टाइम अब मतलब देख जैसे स्लॉट लिस्ट लीग ऑफ से मतलब पूछ या ग्रुप से पूछ आई नीड द स्लॉट लिस्ट सो यू नीड टू बी कंप्लीटली प्रिपेयर्ड व्हेन यू आर कमिंग देख PUBG मोबाइल और पीसी बहुत अलग है मेरे को सब पता चल रहा है कोई खेला हुआ मतलब जैसे कल स्टार्ट हो रहा था जैसे कारल का फायर रेट कम है बट इन मोबाइल इट्स द सेम ठीक है वो तो आफ्टर कास्टिंग मेरे को पता चल रहा है टेक्निकली बोल ही नहीं रहा ठीक है बट ये जो नाम वाम का है ना ये सब बहुत चीज़ ऑब्जर्व करते हैं ये करो वो करो कल देखा था वो लोगी और लोग लॉक वन इतना बड़ा ये लोग रोते रहते थे वन से की नाम ही करते ना टेंशन फीडबैक शीट पे डालते हैं और अगर टेंशन फीडबैक शीट पे डालती है तो दैट्स नॉट अ गुड थिंग तो इसीलिए यू नीड टू बी एट योर बेस्ट एवरी पॉसिबल टाइम समझ रहे तो क्योंकि एकांश वगैरह भी लोग भी देखते हैं ये सब चीज़ तो वो लोग मार्क करेंगे ना ऑफ कोर्स यू वांट टू बी इन गुड शूज तो देख के ये सब चीज़ नोट करना कल बस स्लॉट लिस्ट ले ले थोड़ा सा टॉकिंग पॉइंट्स ले ले अंश वगैरह लोग से पूछ ले कि हाँ क्या करना है क्या नहीं तो वही सब चीज़ ठीक है वो लोग हेल्प कर देंगे तेरे मेरे को भी पता है तू बहुत एग्जॉस्टेड है ये वो है बट ये होता है
वेट व्हाट किसका
क्या
माइक किसका ऑफ था
किसका माइक ऑफ क्या Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the final game of the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split 2021, the Nepali region. And well, what an amazing evening it was. All those unexpected teams, really coming out on top. And, if you talk about the big names, I think so far Team Harame and Team Vibe has impressed us a lot. But again, Necro, we are getting back to the realms of Erangel. And, in such a map, anything can possibly happen. But I would really not ask you anymore as to which team you're really rooting out for, because from what we are witnessing, we are seeing completely a different storyline. So, which
True.
zone do you want to see? That's what I'm asking you this time.
Which zone? Of course, I want to see like a zone that's going to be ending on the top left. I mean, it's Erangel. If you know what I'm talking about, on the top left is like all the apartment area above the George Pool.
All right, so
Yeah.
you're talking something like Zarki, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 exactly. That's
and that
that's definitely where we have not seen like a lot more like zones go there. And when the zone is being thrown there, it's definitely going to be like interesting to see like how these guys are doing their strategy changes, because it's not really a common zone, and I don't feel like a lot of the teams are going to be preparing for a zone like that.
Yeah, of course. And you're talking about Zaki, it kind of changes a lot because when you go there, you've got different terrains, and we've not seen a lot of circles going around there, right? Once we did see, these teams were thrown right off the bat to its Stalber, but a lot of teams, a lot of experienced teams rather had the trouble rotating around. So, yeah, I mean, Zaki, why not? That's just gonna up the ante over here. But to be honest, I really want to see something like a Gatka because, Gatka and Erangel go hand to hand. Every single day we cast a game of PUBG Mobile, we get a Gatka zone, and so far we haven't really gotten one. And if it goes down towards Gatka, then maybe Team Hype might just have a good time. Who really at this point are looking shaky. But the flight path trajectory here we can see that's heading all the way from Lipovka towards Primorsk. I must say this is a pretty good one.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, this plane fly path is definitely a lot more better than the previous ones. Yeah, of course, that we have talked about. But at the same time, it's definitely going to be interesting to see which team is going to be contesting the hospital and Georgia Pool compounds.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see if the teams, they've already faced against each other, gone head to head, and they've managed to know what the other team is up to. So we're not going to see those lot of, drop collisions, of course. And this is a really good flight path, right? So right now, I want to see if these teams are really contending for any kind of, vehicles over here. We haven't yet seen a lot of vehicular manslaughter. Of course, we've seen a lot of players just throwing themselves away from cars, getting knocked. Of course, we've seen those players sitting in other vehicles and then being taken down. But people driving over each other, that is something we ought to see.
Exactly, of course. Yeah, those are some odd situations happening. But at the same time, if you take a look at the zone, oh my god, it's actually so overpopulated.
Yeah, it kind of is a central circle right now, and
Hmm.
maybe the teams would be trying to get their drop in really quick, and would want to get their position somewhere around the Pareto Hills because that's a very good spot. And if you can kind of have that high ground advantage right from the early start, tend to avoid fights, but still getting those important information, then you're good to go. But taking a look at Team Haram, they're looking really promising. Uh, down there at Pochinki. They've not got a lot of, they've not got to, worry about traversing around the map a lot. But there are teams like, the Gurkha boys that are heading on towards the Siverny area. We can see the players of DM4 heading all the way on towards the northeastern side of Kameshki. So these are the teams that need to make those quick rotations in order to secure themselves a good spot in those end zones.
Of course, exactly. I mean, if you guys take a look at 4MS, these guys have been performing really well since even the last games there. Like all those four games, the 4MS has definitely been showing up in the kill feed all the time. Also in the top surviving players list too, as well.
Well. Now, Team 4MS, they've had a really wild start in the first game, getting that free kill for themselves. But this time around, it's kind of silent around this place. So now we've got all these players, looting the entirety of the Melta Power. So they're doing good. They're in a good position. All they need to is just rotate. And I really want to see that which team actually went down south. because we've not seen a lot of action kind of coming out from over there. Not a lot of bridge fight happening today because the circle completely went up north. So maybe some team might be just dropping off at Novoripnoi. But talking about this team in hand right now, well, they've been kind of mediocre, to be honest. They've been getting those kills. They've got some promising players, but I certainly think with Poison in their team, they could go big.
Of course, I mean, Poison is a really good player. If we take a look at his overall stats, yeah, he has been performing really pretty decent. I'm not gonna say absolutely good, but yeah, he has been performing pretty decent. But at the same time, Team Harame, we saw the way they played in the previous game. They were absolutely just dominating in the end zone, and also the confidence level was so high for their team that they literally started just doing emotes in the end circle and just started dancing all over the place. But at the same time, yeah, that's another thing we can talk about is going to be confident. And yeah, once one of your teammate is confident, especially if the IGL of your team is the one showing a lot of confidence against all these other teams, it's definitely going to be a lot more interesting to see like how the other team's going to be playing out, because of course they are going to be having their adrenaline pumping as well. At the same time, they have to use their brain a lot more in a situation like those. And yeah, it's just utility usage just comes as well.
Yeah, of course. The utility usage coming in handy. And now, well, Fishtail. So they've been a kind of a very interesting squad to look out for. This time, however, dropping off at the Water City area. So let's see. Ale. Now, I mean, I do not know. I mean, it's been ages since a team has been to Water City because you take so much time, trying to get those loot up for yourself, and you need even more. That's not enough for a single squad. So I'm really curious as to see how are they going to proceed inside the circle. But looking at Team Ekta, they certainly are promising. Looking neat at the Western Georgia Paul compounds.
Exactly, of course. As you said about not a lot of team have been dropping inside the water area much, or the water houses much, is because I feel like it also gives you a lot more movement like penalty. When you're inside water, yeah, the movement is being slowing down. Of course, when the movement slowed down, the loot speed is slowed down. And if you like in case get unfortunately caught inside the water area that you're trying to get inside the another house or something like that, that might be a easy knockdown for the enemy team, or for anyone in the enemy who's going to be spotting you out.
Yeah. Right now, taking a look at the circle again, Team Extreme, they've been really quick with that rotation. They've kind of, understood the gravity of the situation, taking some damage by the players of Team Vibe. Now, Sword being over there, he's of course gotten his teammate in. Now, Team Vibe and even the players of Team Extreme know how important it is to try and contest for the center. So that's where the skirmish is going on. And Team Haram, they do not have any care in the world. They know they're inside the circle. Pachinki is still one of the places where the zone can really take that shift. And we've seen a lot of curveballs today, haven't we?
Of course, yep. The curveballs is always the more surprising factor as we keep on seeing. And also, we as a caster, right? There are some things that we already prepare as Fixes and me know, and a lot of casters that are actually watching us cast over here. They might also agree that there are a lot of things that we might prepare. But surprises like those just throw us off guard sometimes, and we don't really know what to like say in situations like those. So those might also be some hard part just to cover. But at the same time, yeah, surprises like those are also what I love, and I'm pretty sure Fixes love as well.
Yeah. I mean, right now we have the players of Dream Hackers. They're doing so good. And, well, Shah Z1 Crazy, Sandy Sir. Now, well, this particular team, Z1 Crazy, he's been there right from the start, right in the scene, right? Now, going against the players, they did spot out the players rather of Delta M4. Now, this is also one of those aggressive teams, that I'm looking out for. So, a lot of things can happen, but Gangsta, kind of in the compound where a team from Pakistan, like Freestyle, if you might have heard of them, they love this compound. And there's a lot of reasons why they did. Because as long as you're in the circle, it's a compound that's really difficult to try and push.
Of course, I mean it's out in the open. Of course, if you're gonna be trying to push them, you are gonna get shot from not just the team that is inside the compound, also the team that are surrounding the compounds around. You're gonna get shot by everybody. So I feel like yeah, this compound overall is a really good compound when it comes to just like camping on the zones.
Yeah, I mean, now H2O. So we've been kind of critical about this team a lot, right? But they've really picked themselves up so well. And, to be honest, I'm really impressed by how they've gotten themselves back. And we kind of step on the gun a bit, and we really need to cut a bit of slack on towards all these teams because it's still the first time playing the PMCOs, and they've been doing really well. Oh, this is a strat, I used to do back then when you used to play those pug matches, just be there, just blow up that vehicle, let nobody in come to your compound. But I believe they're rather storing their vehicle for late, trying to keep those important, transport machines for just rotating around, trying to avoid any kind of damage happening on towards him. But the players of CAG, Cinema Art Gaming, they did play off really well. But now they kind of seem to be in a bit of a trouble because this is again Fishtail going all aggressive on them.
Of course, the OG Lords getting the first knock onto one of the players over there. At the same time, yeah, OG Lords also watching his teammates back, which is what I always love. Watching your teammates back, making sure your team's not getting flanked is always the best thing you can do. So that can just like at least make it's like a relief that yeah, you're not gonna get backstabbed. So it's fine. You can just keep on tunnel visioning on the other teams in front of you. At the same time, if we take a look at the airdrop, it has an AUG, not really special kind of weapon. Not like people are definitely not going to be dying to get that weapon. It's like, whatever. If you get close to the drop, okay, then maybe I might as well just grab it because, yeah, just because why not? AUG is just like a good AR overall.
I mean, it's a good AR, but like I mentioned, the teams are actually not going in for those drops
Oh,
tonight. I do not know why, but Anawachi, I mean, that's a good performance from him, getting that first blood. And Team Ekta, that's the kind of a start that they would, of course, want for themselves. But, well, talking about the players of Fishtail, somehow this time getting those knocks, but then taking a notch back. So they've gotten those compounds. They've taken that higher slope of that little house that we have. Taking a look at the Gurkha boys. So they've got those M16. So Neko, we might both agree on this that we've seen a lot of M16s in this play, but right now Chocobo is taking some fight against a beautiful
oh
squad over
no.
there, and that's Team Ekta, and they are looking to be just ambushing, to be harassing, to be bullying down the players over there, getting knocks after knocks, and up until the point they get the whole squad down. But it's still some more few kills to go. We'll have to see
Of
how it
course.
turns out.
True, that was a beautiful wrap around coming from Paragon there. The way you saw he just flanked the enemy team there. That was absolutely just fantastic from his point aside. But at the same time, yeah, the enemy did not really expect Para to be on the left, and he just got completely obliterated from the side, and that was just the unfortunate thing. But as we take a look at TGT Ace, I don't really know what he's trying to do here. He's just sitting inside water, taking a lot of water damage. At the same time, I don't really know if he's just going to be like inside the water for a long time or he's just trying to make sure that there is not really other teams next to him. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see what his mindset is going, like what his mindset is going into this.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at Ace. He's just all right. That's a way to go off. He knew that he's gonna get blown away. Might as well jump into the water. But eventually, like I mentioned, this is one of the teams that has really surprised us tonight. The way they've been playing, and every single player, talk about Nawachi, talk about Paragon, talk about Ogi, talk about Nesh. So all these players, so beautifully structured together as a whole unit. Going in really aggressive. But this is the curveball that I've been talking about, Necro. Any single moment it comes in, and well, then Delta M4, that compound that they chose for themselves has suddenly made them the luckiest and the happiest team in the lot, right?
Of course, yeah, it definitely has made them. But at the same time, oh my god, if you take a look at COG, if they're able to get that school control right there, or even the apartments control next to the school, that is going to be absolute big for them because we already know apartment has those high floors, and that's definitely going to be giving them that. The high ground advantage to just contest onto the late circles there, and we all know how important it is to get that high ground advantage. But at the same time, if we take a look at Fishtail, they're going to be taking down BD Hockey there, and there comes the kill confirm onto Hockey there as well. So Fishtail, I feel like overall performance this game has been pretty strong, and yeah, just overall performance from Fishtail has been pretty strong this whole Erangel map.
I think this has been really promising, kind of an improvement from how they've been playing in those past couple of games. I think they've kind of learned how to control the situation right now. They've kind of learned how to notch it down a bit. That was the only piece of advice that I would give to this team. And Nash getting that knock onto it. C1 crazy. Now this is big.
Exactly, of course. As you were talking about, they have learned their lessons of Fishtails. But yeah, I feel like they are a lot more bloodthirsty this game as well because we have been seeing them a lot, like getting in a lot of fights and actually getting those at least one knockdowns and one finish for themselves, like gathering those one single kill points each and every single time. And I feel like they do have a goal here to just get like as much as kill points as they can, and at the same time getting those placement points just to secure your spot in those main leaderboards like as high as they can. But at the same time, if you're going up against teams like Vibes and 4MS, it's going to be much more harder. The path is going to be getting much more harder. But yeah, it's definitely not impossible.
Right now, we have the players from Team Vibe going against Team Extreme right now. They've been in kind of a situation right now because one of their players, Shinx, takes down Kazi. Now, this is a big knock. Nico, he's in a whole world of trouble. How is he going to survive? He just has a Bison to work around. Still can make some plays happen, but he's getting shot from the left side. How long is he going to survive, though, in this small shroud of smoke that they've built up for themselves, as Hungry Box will get that kill confirmed? And look at the aggression, notching it up a bit because Team Vibes, they are looking hungry. They're getting those kills, but Demon and Genzi Boy, how long are they going to survive over here, considering the fact that they've already lost out on two of their members?
Exactly. I mean, they can definitely survive as long as they want. If they are just staying safe at the positions where they are and just not give enough sound. Because from what I think, so Vibes don't really know the certain situations that the rest of the team TX members are. So they can just sit inside the shack and the other guy can just sit behind the tree just to make sure you're getting those positioning points. But it does seem like Vibes is going to be a lot more aggressive. Shinx is going to be moving next to the shack, and the nades are cooking in through, and I feel like the nade is going to be getting inside the shack as well, but doesn't really seem like that's going to be happening. Another team knockdown coming in from here. Hungry Fox is going down.
He certainly is, but Malik is, of course, there in for that revive. I love the kind of positioning that Zod has, kind of trying to provide that cover fire from behind. But look at Team Mandala. They're going big right now. They're getting that knock onto a Shagar, and Kenzie Boy finally eliminated. It all comes down to Demon, who's the last surviving member. And see what crazy just stops. He gets down, and Cinema Art Gaming just blowing his vehicle up. And, well, he's back to the lobby.
Exactly. Now, Cinema Art Gaming has also been putting on a performance on this Erangel map. One thing I'm noticing a lot here, Fixes, is like the teams that we didn't really expect to do well are actually doing really well. For example, Fishtail and Cinema Art Gaming, like they are doing really well. And now, as we take a look at this, Team Extreme has been completely eliminated out of the game. What are your views on this?
I mean, the kind of a situation that they were in and the way they were taking that fight, they could not really provide cover fire to each other. And of course, Team Vibe, they realize, now is the time that we can go aggressive. The kind of a pressure that they were in has kind of been uplifted because they've made it to the top 8. So you get that free space to play around. So a team like that really goes very deadly. But now we can see 17 minutes have passed by and 4M is poisoned, the last surviving member. He was trying to rotate. Can't blame him for that. Yubin just gets the final confirmation. And with that, 4M is wiped out.
Exactly. As we were talking about, SES just smoking out all their teammates because they are in a really lethal spot here, and they are also really low on their HP. At the same time, KAG is just adding a little bit of salt on top of the injury, just like tickling damage at the same time because they know that people from that team are definitely a lot more lower on HP, so they're just over here bullying them.
Yeah, they certainly are bullying them, trying to, just spend them off from their territory. You're not supposed to be
Oh my
a
god.
gangster. That was a beautiful, beautiful knock coming out from him. And TDP, they just won with the nature. One good grenade, maybe from Jordan, just to fend the attack off, might just do the job. But look at Gurkha. He's lost. Where are his teammates?
Exactly. Of course, we were talking about Gurkha, and here comes some utility usage as well as we were talking about. But it's gonna get spotted in the process of throwing the Molotov. At the same time, the Molotov is gonna be busting right in his hand, so that's gonna be spreading all around across him. But at the same time, I have to give for this guts. Like he is taking the raise instantly without even waiting for without even waiting for the confirmation of the site is completely clear.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the players of Team Hype, they're finally moving in, and Gurkha is still alive, still living for another day, as they are looking, to get a good chicken. And they've been trying to survive for a lot of time. Last game they survived for almost around 24 minutes, and then still got off really early because all these teams are taking those fights in those late game intervals. But right now, Baza, he's one of the players from Blood that I think I've started to really like because he's getting those, pick-offs for his team, and Zor, well, taking down one of the players of Team Ekta, Augie.
Oh
Speak down.
no.
Yeah.
Two players going down, and actually they are in a really bad position over here because we see TDP just pushing across, just pushing really aggressive on Gangsta. It's just he just wants that blood. He is pushing. He doesn't really care. All he wants to do is get his teammate up, but in the process, he's going to get a lot more injured at the same time. Now, Kuku is just right next to him, and his main priority is going to be getting his teammate up, but at the same time, he also has to be careful as much as he can, but because he is down to some crucial HP, and if he takes even one shot, he's going to be going down.
Finally, the hungry man, hungry box, living up to his name, taking so many kills, one after the other, 3 kills. He's on a dominating spree right now. And I mean, if they continue playing like that, I think they just might win it. But I really like the gameplay that I'm looking and witnessing from the players of CHE. I mean, this is a squad, that has been respecting the circle, and that's how you gotta approach it. Well, Delta M4, they did have a good position, but were kind of very off, right out in the open after the circle kind of shifted. But look at Too High taking down the big man Gurkha out there, and Shady, he goes out before he even realizes that, and Socrates kind of in a bit of a situation.
Exactly, of course. As we also take a look at Team DH, right? Sus is just behind the small rock, and if we take a look at other teams as well, it doesn't really seem like they do know where he is. If they do contest his position out, if they do get some info on his position, I feel like it's going to be an easy push towards him, and also a free kill point for them.
I mean, look at Fishtail. They've got all their 4 players alive. They've got those 2 kills. All they need is a good blessing of the circle. But looking at the players of Dream Hackers, we'll have to see how are they going to get those knocks. And, well, Sirfs did try. We got to give him props for that effort. But it was still, the last player of the other team just being thrown out. And KWIN Esports also being eliminated pretty early. They'll just get that one position point out of it. Teams are falling one after the other. I mean, with the way the kind of circle has been, it's right too much in the open.
Of course, I mean, if you're talking about the circle, yeah, circle's definitely going to be a lot more annoying factor for all these players, and they're definitely going to be disappointed at PUBG Dev for designing a circle like that. But at the same time, yeah, these players have to capitalize on the circle as well, and have to work around it. As we talk about Wipe's truck, he is knocked in. He is knocked out of the zone, making his way in slowly towards his teammate, but doesn't really seem like his teammates care about him because it's like gone meat anyways.
Yeah, after all, look at H2O. They're still surviving. And, if he kind of, steps it up a bit, kind of go up over there and just peek around, maybe can spot down the players of Team Vibes. But that's at a cost. Because if the players of Team Hype spot him out, he's basically a goner. With just 8 teams remaining, and we are already in our 6th circle, which is going to start any single moment. We'll just have to wait and watch which team comes out on top.
That is true. Of course, we all want to see which team is going to be coming out on top because all these teams in the end are really playing good. And if we take a look at Team Hype, right, they are still in a solid place. They have their 3 people alive. Hype hasn't been really showing up their performance well this whole time. But at the same time, yeah, if we give a little bit of more chance for Hype, they might be able to just do this out. But as we talk about, one of the teammates from the Hype is going to be going down in the process as well. And yeah, it's just all left to one guy from the Hype. Is he going to be able to secure those second position for his team? That's going to be interesting to see. Like, how is he going to be playing the situation out, anyways? But at the same time, if we take a look at Vibes Malik, he has been on a domination, on an absolute killing spree lately, while eliminated Vibes Esport. This is a big elimination coming in through this game.
Yeah, I mean that was really big, but still, Vibe walking home with 11 points. That's really neat, but so great. I think they might just be heading in for another chicken because already making it huge with those 8 kills coming out from them. And Mandala finally in the final games they are stepping up as Delta M4 Esports have also been eliminated.
Of course, Delta Esports has been one of the teams that we have been seeing for quite a while, but was not really able to show up in these games. But at the same time, yeah, if you take a look at Hype is still alive. At the same time, H2O, Mandala is definitely a known name to see since all these late circle. Well, CAG is absolutely doing a great job surviving, while at the same time, Fishtail Esports is also the one doing a great job in surviving.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, finally, a really promising performance coming out from these lads. I mean, they've been trying, they've been persistent. I really like that effort from them. And finally, it's bearing the results for this team. But so great. Oh my goodness, 8 kills already? Mr. Unit. Well, we gotta see what he's up to. Because the players of Mandala, they're going big. They do not have the numbers, just surviving with 2 players, but still getting those kills for themselves.
Yep, a massive elimination coming through. Fishtail Esports is going to be eliminated out of this game. Now, this is one of the massive eliminations we've seen so far because Fishtail was absolutely dominating this whole Erangel map as well. But at the same time, if we take a look at CES, Mr. Unit is in a decent spot, not gonna lie. He has that busted vehicle as cover. And yeah, he can just work around it. But yeah, definitely not the best possible situation he can be in. But H2O is actually looking so healthy in this situation. They have 3 players alive, which is going to be Freak, Mr. Toby, and Applexes. So yeah, they are actually in a really healthy situation. Well, at the same time, if we take a look at Unit, he's just like giving his position away with those little bit of spam shots coming in from him because he's just expecting for like a little bit of easy knockout from what he's doing, but it's certainly not going to be happening because one of the CSG player does have the vehicle as their cover.
Yeah, right now, Soccer Esports, they are going big, getting kills one after the other. And every single player is contributing equally as we have our last 2 teams surviving. It's going to be a 4v3 skirmish over here. And these are 2 teams that have already gotten the chicken dinners. And no, it's H2O rather. They are hungry for it. Last time, they made it very consistent to the top 2 spot. Now they want the winner. Who is going to get it though, as Mr. Zoro has definitely replenished his armor and his helmet.
Exactly. Zoro has that care package as his cover, which is definitely going to be a lot more unique cover to see in a while. Yeah. But at the same time, Zoro, it doesn't really matter what kind of cover he is. Zoro is actually pretty comfortable playing around. As we take about that, Applexes has been gone down from Team H2O, and that's definitely going to be a massive collide downstairs. If we talk about that, Mr. Toby, 1 knockdown at the same time. Oh my god, what just happened? H2O has been eliminated out.
Wow, I mean, we didn't get to witness our second chicken dinner finally coming out from a team, and they have gone big this time, 14 kills. I mean, they were smart in the start. Now they are barbaric with the kind of a performance coming out from these players. No, I am really surprised. I'm rather impressed, flabbergasted by the talent that is coming out from the Nepal region. Every single time, Necro, every single time, every map. These teams are surprising us.
Exactly, of course, as we were talking about all these surprising factors that we were saying, and even like we are also stumbling sometimes to say like what exactly is happening in front of us because the way these players are thinking is definitely some unique playstyle coming in through. But at the same time, if we took at H2O, we definitely did not expect what exactly happened here. That should not have happened. H2O has to be the one, like, or should have been the one to actually take this whole game in their hands. But certainly they managed to just like outnumber the other teams. But at
Yeah.
the same time, they were looking really strong in those end zone. But certainly something happened. Maybe just unlucky situations happened, and they just fell across.
And there you have Mr. Choki. Well, he's got those 4 kills and so crits. And I think right from the get-go, they've been looking really solid with the rotations. Now they've gotten that extra kill factor punch into their gameplay. And once you combine that too, that's the perfect balance that you need in a team. And I must say that it's not just a one-man effort anymore. It's a total team performing really well. Every single player has those 2 kills, 3 kills, and just sum it up, they're sitting at 14.
Of course, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we definitely did not expect Socrat to get on top of there. I mean, if you're talking about fixing, even you have to agree, we never expect Socrat to get on top there. But at the same time, they proved us wrong and just dominated the end circle. At the same time, also what they were able to take down the most strongest team that was over there, which was H2O. They had 3 of their members alive, which was outnumbering everyone in the zone, and they still were not scared even a notch, and they easily managed to take out H2O. But also at the same time, if we take a look at top players, Mr. Chokid is of course going to be with 4 kills and 718 damage, and so goes on the other players. But yeah,
Yeah.
as we talked about, we definitely did not expect them to win.
And the best part is Team Mandala has even stepped up. And of course, Team Y, they're doing good every single time. They're getting those 10, 11 points per game, which is enough to take them to the finals of our regional PMCO. So after that, they will be eyeing they will be eyeing themselves to be getting those PMPL slots, but that's a different story to be discussed on a different day. But for what we saw today, and of course, Team Socrates has to be the best team coming out of here. And now, when we were in the pre-game segment, we've been discussing with our Nepali brethren, and they did mention different names, but from what we just saw from now, that's a totally different thing happening. But let's take a look at the match summary out here. And again, a 310-meter kill. I think you must be pretty happy because you love those long shots.
Of course, who doesn't? I mean, come on, those long shots are just so satisfying to see, especially when those long kills happen. Yeah, it is actually so satisfying to see those long kills happening for sure. But at the same time, longest distance travel is also quite impressive this game. It was a massive rotation coming in from them. But yeah, it's as you said, I like to see long distance. I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers actually love to see long distance kills as well.
I would have loved to see how many grenades and smokes were kind of used in this game, because we used to have those statistics, in those PMPLs and the PMCOs. But with the changing times, things change. But those stats really, mattered a lot. Gave us a very good insight as to how teams were progressing. But there you go, the match ranking coming out, and KWIN Esports with 29 points, 15 points for the chicken, 14 kills. A perfect balance, like I mentioned, with kills and the position.
Exactly. Of course, Soccer Gaming definitely surprising us with the whole thing there. But what exactly is going to be interesting to see how far up have Soccer managed to make their way up. I don't really think so. Soccer is going to be making their way that far up in the overall leaderboard. But yeah, of course, they're going to be getting that top 10 spot for sure.
They certainly will be. But right now, with the way things have been going, Team Extreme, being hammered down. I think it was just that one game they played really well. But in the rest of them, they kind of trying to find the zone. We haven't really got enough time to talk about Krusty Process. I mean, this is one of the teams that has one of the best players in the Nepali region, that's Shagar. And this kind of a performance, they're kind of looking really shaky, not really confident while engaging in those fights. And this time it was Vibe that was really hungry and vibing and getting their in a demons channeled up in those final games. They were going all aggressive, but you can still see they're getting those points. But a team like Krusty Process, one of the oldest teams coming out from Nepal, they've got a few new additions to their roster, and this has always been a problem in these PUBG Mobile tournaments. One tournament gets over, you see teams, you see players scattering each other around. Had they kind of stick together, things could have been different. As we move on to our Oppo moments, where we did see all these teams battling it out for glory, and KWIN Esports coming out on top.
Of course, Oppo moments. How can we forget those? Because those are the best things that we need to see. Those are the best highlights that we can see over here. Over here, this was definitely an unfortunate knockdown coming in from Wipes there. Team Grenade is going to be taking their own teammate down. That happens, unfortunate moments for everybody.
Yeah, it certainly does. But right now, Mandala. So Jordan, he did play really well. Like, look at him surviving with a sliver of HP. And in this certain situation, you would expect a player to just try to panic heal. But he did analyze and understand the situation over there and responded. As a result, they did have a very promising outing in the last game. But Cinema Art Gaming, this is also one of the teams that I would love to see tomorrow because they've gotten that chicken. They've been looking really promising. They've been staying alive for so long. But one of those things, kind of is trying to bug me over here. The players are taking these fights so late in the game. They're not getting that enough room, that space that they could utilize, to try to kind of traverse around, that mechanical play that I'm talking about. I know you understand that. So, if these teams try to start fighting against each other somewhere around those mid games, the late game situation could be just a bit better because if you have so many teams alive, in those final circles, whichever team rather has the zone kind of has an easy advantage to win.
Of course, that's for sure. The advantage will be certainly there. But at the same time, if you take a look at the overall ranking, who we wanted to see over here is not really in the top 8. Ekta Sport has definitely managed to get on the top 8 spot there, as we see Harami also on the top 7 spot. And the rest of the teams, Socrate over here actually getting the 3rd spot in their hands.
I mean, Socrates, they were really phenomenal today, and same goes with Team Vibe. This is one of the teams that we did want to look out for, and they impressed us. Of course, they can be way better than this because I know Hungry Box. I've seen this lad play. He is a mean, killing, cold-blooded machine. So, moving on forward, look at Team Extreme. Not where they would really want to be.
True.
They've been getting those kills. It was just that one match where they got that position point, but that's just about it. 27 points. They can certainly do better because of the kind of players that they have. Having experience from the highest level. But Mandala, of course, having a kind of a bad day, they've really picked themselves up really well.
Of course, as you were talking about Team Extreme being really unfortunate for today here, not really the day's not really going in their favor. But at the same time, one team that I definitely want to see tomorrow play good is going to be Team H2O. For sure, that team I am going to be having my eyes on because of the way I saw the way these guys were playing. They were patient. They were taking their time to process the information through. They were just thinking a lot much more and actually strategizing and putting the strategy well on the table for all of us here to watch, and that was an absolute fascinating show for us to watch as well.
Today and yesterday, comparing both these days, have been a completely different storyline that we've had. Because yesterday we did see, teams like Cops, teams like Carnage, really impressive. It was so much more technical. But today it was a day of surprises. New teams coming up and Socrates. I mean, I'm kind of impressed by the way they've performed. And tomorrow, when we have different groups going against each other, it will be a different showdown completely. Just because of the fact that teams they might have the same drop locations. They might drop on each other. They need to do their homework over here. They need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what are the mistakes they made. How can they work things out? A lot of different things needs to be done because it's still, the kind of the This is still the second day, so things can go either ways with the future days to come. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally done with all our matches for the evening. It was a long day at the office, and we will, of course, be taking a break. We'll be seeing you tomorrow. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow. With that, goodbye and happy fragging.